Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Hokage. This sign-in system is bit tricky. Chapter 61. After the wind and raging waves threatened Santao Asama. He glanced at the forehead protector on Yefengtu with a cold look. The kid in Konoha village, did you kill my 3 ineffective men? This makes me very unhappy. Feng Hua in anger said lightly. After all, Snow Country is a little Guo Jia. There are very few Jonin like Longfang Bangshe in them. Yi Feng killed 3 all at once. This makes Feng Hua rage very unhappy. But, after all, the other party is a ninja from Konoha village, and Feng Hua and Rage have done some investigations these days. Just a kid who has just been promoted to Jonin. People who dare to move him. This is really outrageous. Are you not happy? It's my ass. The corner of Yi Feng's mouth was full of ridicule, and he glanced at Feng Hua Rutao with disdain. Are the current villains so long-winded? Is this called a death testimony? Thinking of the night breeze here, I was relieved. They are going to die soon. Let him say a few more words. As long as I am unhappy, someone will die. Feng Hua New Dao's eyes swept across Yi Feng's face like a blade, and his words were full of coldness. This kid in Konoha village is so arrogant, which makes Feng Hua and Rage feel murderous in his heart. Even if you offend Konoha village, it doesn't matter. Anyway, he will soon get the secret of the Snow Country. By the time, he is the richest person in the ninja world. Oh, someone must die, then you can do it yourself. Yi Feng shrugged. Yi Feng just woke up. I didn't want to talk about it. But, to show his respect for Feng Hua and Rage. This is also impossible. Presumptuous. Bing done Black Dragon Storm kill. Feng Hua raging on both hands nodded. Screamed wildly. Immediately afterwards, a terrifying blizzard soared into the sky, condensing into a black dragon in midair, roaring towards the night breeze. Large-scale ninjutsu like this is actually very difficult to dodge. Because, within the coverage of the black dragon, the air will become extremely viscous. The friction is huge. Unless you use the space-time ninjutsu like Flying Thunder God. Otherwise, ordinary body flicker technique is hard to work. Well, ninjutsu on this scale can finally make me serious. Fire-style Howlong fire technique. A huge fire dragon rose into the sky, entangled with the black dragon in the wind and the raging waves. Rumbling, the 2 dragons bite and fight each other in midair. There was a deafening sound. Boy, don't look down on people. I'm the name of the Snow Country. Ice Shield Sangyang Storm kill. This time, an even more terrifying chakra gushes out of Feng Hua and Rage. 2 black dragons rose into the sky. It's like 2 tornadoes. Cover the sky and the sun. The power is more than twice as powerful as the black dragon just now. Boy, die to me. Feng Hua and raging waves urged ninjutsu with all their strength and moved towards the night wind. Yi Feng frowned. There is no ninjutsu like Flying Thunder God. It is indeed very inconvenient for him to want to slash at close quarters now. Revolving Heaven. Yefeng adopted defensive tactics. Countless fire-style chakra came out, forming a fire-style revolving heaven. Rumble. The 2 black dragons roared and rushed towards the night wind. A thick white mist rose. But it is destined to be unharmed. That kid, finally. Was he killed by me? Feng Hua angry looked at the fog ahead, leaving a drop of cold sweat on his cheeks. Have to say, this Konoha kid is really strong. Yefeng, shouldn't he be killed? In the eyes of everyone. If the night wind is dead, the remaining samurai are not worth mentioning. But at this moment, Feng Hua and Rage suddenly heard a sound from behind. Ice Shield Finger Pistol. Boom. A clear voice sounded. Feng Hua in anger felt a coldness in his chest. The ice armor he was wearing was shattered by a single blow. This. How could it? How could I be defeated by ninjutsu? In the eyes of Feng Hua and Rage, his ice armor is immune to some ninjutsu and illusion. Even his double dragon storm kill couldn't break the defense of his armor. But now, why is this kid's ice shield able to penetrate his defense? This makes no sense at all. At this time, Yi Feng said flatly, why? That's because there is no absolute defense in this world. Ninja fighting, in the final analysis, is just chakra fighting, and your chakra is like an ant compared to me. Quote. Any move is just a manifestation of chakra's power. When chakra is strong enough. Instead, the moves seem to be less important. Boom, that's all. The voice of the night wind fell. Feng Hua and raging waves fell to the ground unwillingly and died. He studied defensive armor for a lifetime. It is worthless to be devalued. The battle is over. Yi Feng returned to Feng Hua Xiaoshui with a relaxed look. Well, your nightmare is over. From today, you can chase your dreams with confidence. Yi Feng smiled lightly. Feng Hua Rutao and 3 of his men are dead. The remaining forces in the snow country are easy to deal with. So, next, Feng Hua Xiaoshui can pursue her true dream. That, old man, I killed all the big names in the snow country, or else I will help you rebuild the country by the way. However, the task level must be upgraded to S rank. Yi Feng touched his chin. Anyway, it did the job, and it didn't matter if he did a little more. No problem. As long as the country can be restored, in addition to the normal S-level mission bounty, we can also pay you a large bounty for you. I guarantee that you will be satisfied. Mita Asama said excitedly. If you can help them restore the Kingdom of Snow, let alone an S grade, even 10 S grades will be fine. What? Extra payment? Do you think I am the kind of person who lacks money? Yi Feng frowned. I just helped out by the way. Am I for the money? Ah, Why don't you pay? Mita Asama rubbed the back of his head in a daze. If you don't need money, it would be more perfect. No payment. I found that you people in Snow Country are really fickle. Yi Feng said with emotion. Ah, this little snow princess, what do you think? The 3 husbands of Asama were ruined by the game. Hee, what else to watch? As long as the country can be restored, I can give him anything. Feng Hua Xiaoshui smiled sweetly. Look at Yi Feng's eyes. Suddenly there was a feeling of admiration. Yi Feng. When I went out, it was a B level mission, but when I came back, it became an S level. Your surprise is really comparable to Naruto, the whirlpool. Tsunade sat at the window. Keep looking up and down the night breeze. She just promoted Yefeng to Jonin. He actually helped the employer rebuild the country by the way. This time, those old guys must have nothing to say. How do you say this? I also think that Ms. Feng Hua is too pitiful, so I can't help but help out a little. But afterwards, I almost wanted to agree with my body, leaving me to be a big name in the snow country. I also managed to escape. Am I easy? Yi Feng shrugged and walked in front of Tsunade, expressing the hard work of doing the task. Cut. I don't care about your tolerance. This is the next task, grade A, we will leave tomorrow. Tsunade glanced at Yi Feng silently. Want to play tricks in front of my old lady? You are too tender. Would you like to be so fast? Yi Feng frowned, and said, I just came back, so can't you let me rest for 10 days and a half month? No, there are too many tasks in the village now, and Jonin doesn't have enough manpower. Tsunade shrugged, as if to indicate that she was also helpless. Are you afraid that you are fooling me like a second fool? Yi Feng frowned and looked at Tsunade. He just saw Asuma and Yurihong hiding in the grove and falling in love. Are you telling me that there are not enough people in the village? Don't talk nonsense. If you don't perform the task, you will be marked as rebellious, so that you will never marry that little girl Hinata. Tsunade picked up the corner of his mouth and sacrificed the big move. You are ruthless. Yi Feng was speechless, and took over the quest scroll. Of course Tsunade understood Yi Feng's thoughts. But, want to be lazy, non-existent. You are all long-term workers under the hands of my old lady. Just go out and move bricks honestly. In the next month, Yi Feng has been performing tasks outside the village. Class B, Class A, Class S. As an outstanding young man in Konoha village, Yefeng's task execution efficiency is quite high. The praise continues, but only Yi Feng knows. The efficiency of his tasks is high. That's because he wants to go back to the village and meet Hinata as soon as possible. It's really hard. Hey, I was squeezed by this old woman. No, I'm going to have a showdown with her this time. Yefeng has already decided. Who dares to arrange another task for him? He would kill someone with a knife. Ding, you have a new task, please check it carefully. Yi Feng's face was full of question marks. Sister Chu. You are against me deliberately, right? I just said that whoever is assigned a task will be cut off. Your backhand is a new order. But, it's so fragrant. Night Wind opens the task panel. Take a look at the content of this mission. Then, the brow frowned. End Valley watching battle. That is to say, Urzuzi has reached the season of defecting. Sasuke is a very proud teenager. But he has been living in the shadow of the night breeze for several years. No matter how hard he tried, can't catch up with the night wind. Especially this Chunin exam. Sasuke thought he had mastered the lightning style and learned the Chidori, which was already very impressive. The results of it, he was not only blasted by Gaara. Finally, not even a Chunin qualification for promotion. And the night wind, one leap to Jonin, completely opened the gap between them. This sense of gap left Sasuke at a loss. Then, he pinned all his hopes on Orochimaru, the cage-level powerhouse who killed 3rd Hokage and escaped Konoha village alive. The mission time limit is only 7 hours. That is to say, the Otonin group should have taken Sasuke out of the village. Thought of this, Yi Feng frowned. Now, Jonin in Konoha village basically has a mission. According to the development in the original plot, Tsunade will let Shikamaru be the captain and find the team members to complete this task. Finally, the players Shikamaru chose were Akamichi Choji, Hyuga Neji, Inuzuka Tooth, and Naruto. This lineup is said to be able to fight and fight to break out. There are also excellent tracking capabilities. There is no problem with the candidate. But the situation is different now. Because of the night breeze, this butterfly is here. The interpersonal relationship between Konoha 12 Xiaoqiang has changed a lot. Compared to the less familiar Hyuga Neji, Shikamaru will definitely be more inclined to let Hyuga Hinata join. After all, Hinata is also Chunin. The strength is not weaker than Neji. And also, Ino Shikacho also has a new style of play. Shikamaru may also bring Ino with him. After all, Ino shouted all day that he wanted to go out and hack someone. Has become a sister chop. No, you still have to find them quickly, otherwise, what if they are bullied by the tattooed youth? Yi Feng shook his head. The strength of the sound of the 4 people is not weak. After turning on the state of Cursion 2, you can even sling 2 Jonin from Konoha village together. In the original plot, although the small strong team defeated all 4, but they also paid a big price. If it weren't for Tamari and Konkuro to come to the rescue. Maybe it was cold at the time. So, Night Wind will not let Hinata and Ino be bullied by them. After all, in this perilous world of ninja, they just need to lie down and win. Opened by Akugan, the Night Wind rushed all the way. Finally found the Shikamaru team. Sure enough, the Night Wind did not expect it. Among the players in this version, Hyuga Neji is missing, and Hinata and Ino are added. Yefeng, great, help us perform a mission. Shikamaru saw the return of the Night Wind. Happy in my heart, if Yi Feng could join them, then this mission would be much more secure. Ah, I don't think so. Ino frowned, and said a little disgustingly, if my brother joins, I won't have a chance to kill people again. Hinata smiled slightly, although this is true, but she still looks forward to being able to perform tasks with Yi Feng. Ino, don't float. Since Shikamaru asked me to help, it means that your task must be tricky. Yi Feng asked knowingly. Well, the task is very tricky. Sasuke was captured by Orochimaru's 4 men. Shikamaru's face was dark. Although the 4 people are about the same age as them. But, they were the ones who helped Orochimaru kill 3rd Hokage. Strength should not be underestimated. Oh, that's the case. In this case, Naruto and I will chase first. You, as the second echelon, will support us. Yi Feng said. People don't want to be the second tier. People also want to kill people. Ino said unhappy. It's been a long time since I hacked people. This lady's shinobi is already thirsty. Ino, let's listen to Yi Feng's arrangement. Hinata felt a little disappointed when she heard that Yi Feng was not with them, but she still respected Yi Feng's decision. Yefeng, why don't you go together? One more person means more strength. Shikamaru asked inexplicably. You are too slow. If you are with you, Sasuke probably has already seen Orochimaru. So Naruto can only be with me, after all, he is very explosive. Yefeng explained. It is actually necessary for the Night Wind to ask Naruto to stop Sasuke with him. Because, after solving the 4 people who lost the sound of Shinobu, Night Wind needs to let Naruto take Sasuke away first. So, only the plot of Ending Valley can be triggered. He can successfully complete the sign-in. As for whether he can bring Sasuke back, Yifeng is not particularly concerned. After all, Naruto, a ninja who can't speak, what can Yifeng do? Okay, then you guys be careful. Shikamaru considered it for a while, and felt that the problem shouldn't be big. Let's go, there are many. Yifeng glanced at Naruto. Good. Along the way, Whirlpool Naruto changed from the old style of broken mouth. He is taciturn. The eyes were full of worry. Just follow Yifeng silently. Naruto, don't worry so much, we can definitely catch up with them. Yifeng comforted Naruto symbolically. After all, everyone has been playing together for so many years. Yifeng didn't want to see his will be so depressed. I will definitely bring Sasuke back, I have to get oil. Naruto cheered himself up. Yifeng shook his head silently. Yes, to catch up is to be able to catch up. But it is no longer possible for Sasuke to return to the village with them. Take the character of Urzuzi. He can only be the first. I would never be willing to be second. Not to mention third place. So, Orochimaru is indeed his best destination. After all, Sasuke is number 1 in Orochimaru. About half an hour later, the ordinary ninjas from the 3 teams of Odonin village galloped from a distance. They were obviously trying to buy time for the crowd of 4. Konoha village's chasing soldiers turned out to be only 2 little ghosts. They simply don't put us in their eyes. Kill them. I've long seen the ninjas in Konoha village upset. Gluck, that little brother looks thin and tender, you leave me a whole body, I can. It turns out, everyone thought they were good before they were blown by reality. Face the ambush. Yifeng didn't slow down. One by one, he instantly killed a dozen ninjas oncoming. Night Wind, really strong, we can definitely bring Sasuke back, we have to get oil. After watching the performance of the Night Wind, Naruto seemed to have taken a reassurance. But he didn't know, Yifeng would not interfere in the matter between them. The bond between Naruto must go through some trials. And this time is the opportunity for Naruto and Sasuke to transform together. Yifeng will not interfere with them. It didn't take long. Naruto finally saw the 4 Odonin groups rushing forward. His heart burst into anger. Asshole, put Sasuke down for me. He is mine. Naruto shouted loudly, but the sound of Shinobu and the 4 had no intention of slowing down at all. Let me come. Yifeng's voice fell. Like a hurricane, the whole person rushed directly to the group of 4 people. Yifeng cut down the barrel containing Sasuke with a single knife, and kicked the barrel into Naruto's arms with a skillful kick. That's a lot, take Sasuke and go first, just leave the 4 of them to me to deal with it. Yokkei's Hengsho stopped the group of Odonin. Great, thank you, Night Wind. Naruto held the barrel in his arms, ecstatic. Although there is still a piece of wood between him and Sasuke. But the familiar taste can't be wrong. The man inside is Urzu. Yamanaka Night Wind, I didn't expect us to meet again. The 4 people saw that it was Yamanaka Night Wind who was chasing after him, and they directly turned on the state of Curse Seal too. They didn't worry about Sasuke. Because they still have something to do. The most important thing for the 4 of them right now is how to defeat Yamanaka Night Wind. Taya, I heard that Mr. Kabuto's left arm was chopped off by Yamanaka Night Wind. Don't take it lightly. Hehe, what are you afraid of? Yakushi Kabuto does not have the blessing of Lord Orochimaru, and we are all in the state of Curse Yunji now, should we still be afraid of him? That's right, my spider silk is already intolerable for chicken shells. Yes, Ukin hasn't come out for a long time. He said he wanted to tear off this Konoha Yamanaka guy. The Night Wind is behind the sound of Shinobu. He looked at them calmly. These 4 people are not good people. But their loyalty to Orochimaru is absolutely nothing to say. Almost all of Orochimaru's men are orphans. Perhaps it is because Orochimaru is also an orphan himself. So his lonely heart can better understand these men. Resonate with soul. It is for this reason. Only then will they be devoted to Orochimaru. Such people are actually very pitiful. But Yifeng does not have a virgin's heart. So, after each of them finished a sentence, a bright red bloodline bloomed around their necks. Like plum blossoms in full bloom in winter. Tisk tut. Kill alive. Why is there such a terrible sword technique in this world? Yifeng shook his head. No way. Sister Chu gave it. After eliminating the sound of Shinobu 4 people, Yi Feng did not rush to catch up with Naruto. Because Ye Feng knew that Naruto would still be stopped by Kimimaro who came. Then, Kimimaro abused Naruto after a wave. Sasuke will wake up in the barrel. Then, Xiaoli came out to the rescue. Naruto pursued Sasuke. Only then will the Battle of End Valley take place. The script has been written very clearly. But it's hard to say whether Xiaoli will come to the rescue this time. Gaara is the same. After all, the bond between everyone and these people has changed more or less. At this time, Yi Feng was hiding in the woods watching Naruto. He silently looked at the shadow clone of Naruto, and was pierced one by Kimimaro like a balloon. Then, Zuzi finally regained consciousness. Yi Feng understands. Now it's almost time for him to play. Sass, are you awake? That's great. Let us join forces to defeat this weird man with bones all over. Got oil. Uzumaki Naruto is in high spirits. He believed. With the tacit understanding between him and Erju, they can cooperate with each other and defeat Kimimaro should not be a problem. But, however, the second pillar turned his back to Naruto very coldly, and made a very strange sound in his mouth. Hee hee, hee hee, hee hee hee. Erzu, what's the matter with you? Come into my arms. Naruto suddenly felt his scalp numb, as if watching a horror movie. Hee hee, hee hee, hee hee hee. The weird voice sounded again. Zuzi felt the surging power in his body, and couldn't restrain the ecstasy in his heart at all. So, he made that rather weird sound. Hee hee hee. Original. This is power. Original. This is the feeling of Yamanaka Night Wind. Orochimaru, I am coming. I brought my stubbornness to come to you. I want to kill that man and defeat a boy. Then, Sasuke didn't even look at Naruto, but jumped up and dashed away according to the address on the little card Orochimaru left him. Sasuke, are you back? Have you heard what I said? Hurry back to my arms. But, Sasuke didn't hear what Naruto was saying at all. Otherwise, he was sure to kill him right away and teach Naruto how to behave. Swirl Naruto, don't waste your energy here, go to death. Kimimaro came to the back of Naruto with a bony body. Sharp bone spurs held high. Stabbed towards Naruto's neck artery. Boom, really, Little Plum did not appear. The person who kicked Kimimaro away turned into a night breeze. Oh, coming so soon. So, have you killed all 4 of them, Yamanaka? Kimimaro looked at the night breeze. A serious look finally appeared on his face. Do you know me? It seems that Orochimaru should have asked you specifically, right? Yi Feng looked at Kimimaro playfully. This boy who can play with bones is very good. If it wasn't because he was sick, Orochimaru will definitely choose Kimimaro for this reincarnation container. Because in the eyes of the Night Wind, Kimimaro's dead bone pulse is more suitable for Orochimaru than Uchiha's Sharingan. Just imagine, the Yachi Orochi is studded with sharp, hard bone blades. Defensive and offensive are integrated. Even if Uchiha Itachi opens Suzuo, Orochimaru estimated that it was worthwhile. Such a pity. Good luck makes people like that. It just happened to prevent Orochimaru from getting the container he wanted. Even Uchiha Sasuke, Orochimaru just missed the time to reincarnate. As a last resort, we have to wait a few more years. The result was overturned by the 2 pillars against the wind. Ye Feng, Sasuke laughed strangely when he came out, and then ran away. What should I do? Naruto's face showed an anxious look. Isn't Erzu becoming a neuropathy? It is very immoral to let the neuropathy run around. Go chasing it, let me deal with this young orthopedic boy. Yi Feng urged Naruto. Don't leave again. The day-lily is going to be cold. Okay, Yi Feng, thank you. I didn't expect you to care about Sasuke so much. I will definitely tell him your thoughts. You have to be oily. Naruto watched the night wind solemnly. Original. Even though Yi Feng did not move, he beat Sasuke. But in fact, he is spurring Sasuke to grow. He also likes 2 pillars. I think it's better, you just mention yourself, you don't have to mention me. Yi Feng glanced at Naruto silently. It's troublesome. 2 pillars have just unlocked a brand new power. Now it is time for him to float. You mention my name in front of him at this time. Isn't that irritating him? Beware that he really killed you. When fighting with me, how dare you still chat? Your fighting consciousness is much worse than I thought. Yamanaka Night Wind. Ha! Kimimaro turned on the state of Shuyinyi, and instantly appeared behind the Night Wind. A bone pierced it. Puff! Yi Feng's body turned into a pool of seawater, flowing on Kimimaro's bone spurs. Moisture body. It's such an unreasonable magical skill. Kimimaro, don't you know? It's a rude thing to interrupt others. Yi Feng smiled faintly. He also made a backstab. He cut his heart towards Kimimaro's back. Saw. Kimimaro heard a blade wind sound behind him. My scalp feels numb. Su su su. Countless hard bones came out of Kimimaro's back. The black knife that blocked the night wind. At the same time, Kimimaro pushed hard with one step and rushed forward, pulling away from the night wind. Gurgling. Whirlpool Naruto swallowed. Such a fight. He really has nowhere to intervene. Yefeng, then I'll go first, be careful. Naruto ordered. He chased in the direction where Sasuke disappeared. Yamanaka Night Wind, you are indeed very strong, but I have the mission of Master Orochimaru, I can't let you pass. Kimimaro looked at the night wind calmly. This moment, Kimimaro has realized the terrible night breeze. The cut just now was not only fast, and also easily destroyed his spine defenses. No wonder Orochimaru-sama cares about this guy so much. He is really strong. Don't let me go. Then take out all your strengths and let me see to what extent Dead Bone Pulse can be played by you. Yi Feng said lightly. Good. Kimimaro resisted the pain in the cell. The state of Curse Yin 2 was turned on. This battle, whether he wins or loses, he will definitely die. But he has always had the consciousness of fighting to die for Lord Orochimaru. Dead Bone Pulse 10 Finger Piercing. Kimimaro opened his hands wide. The phalanx of the 10 fingers instantly shot towards the night wind like a bullet. This is Kimimaro's rare long-range attack method. The phalanx is very small, but it is powerful. Even Gaara's sand can barely resist. Oh, it turned out to be this way of play. Ice Shield Finger Pistol. Yi Feng raised his finger and shook it 10 times. 10 ice escape bullets were shot out, and they met Kimimaro's phalanx in the air. Bo 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 bo. 20 bullets exploded in the air. Kimimaro saw that his long-range attack was easily broken by the night wind. Then, he gritted his teeth, performed physiques, and rushed up again. Dead Bone Pulse, Willow Dance. Su su su. More than a dozen sharp bone spurs grew out of Kimimaro's joints, and with Kimimaro's special physical skills, they launched a fierce attack towards the night wind. When. Although Kimimaro's bone spurs are hard in texture, but under the ghostly blade of the night wind, it didn't play any role at all. In the blink of an eye, all the bone spurs on Kimimaro were flattened by the night wind. Is it only this level? Kimimaro, you will make me look down on your Lord Orochimaru. Orochimaru is the god in Kimimaro's heart. He would never allow anyone to satirize Orochimaru. So, when Kimimaro heard the night wind ridicule Orochimaru, his emotions began to become extremely excited. Finally, he broke out. Dead Bone Pulse Tsubaki Dance. Dead Bone Pulse Tang Song Dance. Dead Bone Pulse Dance of Iron Flower. Dead Bone Pulse Dance of the Eightfold Humulus. Kimimaro burst out tricks one after another, launching a tide-like attack on the night wind. The wave has not settled. One wave after another. The power is amazing. But, no matter how strong Kimimaro is, it seems that Yi Feng will always only need to swipe a knife lightly to completely disintegrate his offensive. Kimimaro saw that his attack had no effect on night wind. My heart couldn't help but started to become anxious. If you can't stop the Yamanaka night wind, Kimimaro is worried that he will be broken. Orochimaru-sama's big business. Then, Kimimaro confided, Yamanaka night wind. Next, let you experience my strongest meaning. Dead Bone Pulse Dance of Early Fern. Su su su. Rustle. In an instant, countless huge bone spurs rose from the ground. The attack range of this trick is very wide. It is an indiscriminate attack. No matter it is clone technique, body replacement technique, body flicker technique, it is impossible to evade the attack range of this kind of map cannon instantly. This is Kimimaro's lore. It is also the last ninjutsu he can use with this body now. Boom. Faced with such a large-scale ninjutsu, Yi Feng finally started to take it seriously. Drink. Chakra inside Yefeng rolled frantically. The right hand squeezed the ghost tightly. He swung fiercely towards the surrounding area. Rumble. This earth-shattering sword gesture seemed to make the wind and clouds in the sky change its color, and it even shattered all the bones in the mountains and plains. Sky. Scraps of white bones fluttered. The picture is very spectacular. This moment, Kimimaro finally showed a desperate expression. He fell to the ground feebly. The curse mark disappeared. A pale and feeble face was revealed. It seems that ominous premonition is coming true. Orochimaru-sama, your dream. I may only be able to see you come true in another world. Kimimaro's death lines are sensational. But, as a person who has played Dynasty Warriors, even the sensational death lines Yefeng have experienced, this is nothing. This knife almost hollowed out the chakra in my meridians. Fortunately, I have the 100 healings mark, otherwise it would be really a dangerous thing. Yifeng thought thoughtfully. Yifeng is familiar with the plot, and naturally, after knowing Kimimaro, he will never encounter enemies again. But, what if he is facing an event outside of the plot? One big move exhausted chakra. This is definitely a very dangerous thing. It seems, 100 healings mark is indeed a magical skill. 100 healings mark, open. The night wind opens the 100 healings mark. Those chakras that were originally stored in the diamond-shaped mark on the forehead immediately flowed into the meridians. Unfortunately, there is no Baihao technique in ninja art, meiotic regeneration technique. At present, I can only use the 100 healings mark to restore chakra, which is not ideal. Yifeng shook his head. Baihao technique and ninja art, meiotic regeneration technique are both S-level secret techniques developed by Tsunade on the basis of 100 healings mark. Ninja art, meiotic regeneration technique. As the name suggests, chakra is used to instantly recover from physical injuries. Baihao technique can use the chakra released by the 100 healings mark to enhance the body's attributes. After opening, whether it is ninjutsu or physique, the power will be strengthened. It is a secret technique similar to buff. Pity, Yefeng hasn't gotten through the sign-in yet. And, it is said that only women can learn. I don't know if it is true. Fortunately, he has a system. As long as you can sign in and get it, nothing is impossible. End Valley. Yifeng found a very secret place. While sipping melon seeds, he watched and checked in comfortably. Ding. Host starts to sign in. This time it takes 30 minutes to sign in. At this time, Sasuke and Naruto have already started fighting. Naruto raised his hand and was a connected shadow clone. It seems like relying on the advantage of the large number of people, launching a 1,000-person largemouth escape technique to save Uchiha Sasuke, who is about to become a miserable boy. But, Urzuzi had no sympathy, and opened Sharingan in cold blood. A meal plus ninjutsu. Show off all shadow clone of Naruto. But Naruto is not a vegetarian either. The blue balls flew up. The two played on the lake. It's hard to tell the outcome. At this time, Sasuke's jealousy immediately burst. Thinking of me, Uchiha Sasuke should have been a genius. But, I was not only beaten by the Yamanaka night wind. Now, even the tail of the crane in the class has the power to beat me 5-5. Such a life is too boring. In summary, Urzuzi's mentality collapsed again. Then, he decisively took out the latest version of the skin that Orochimaru gave him. Really, after putting on a new version of the skin, Urzuzi instantly felt his power doubled. Immediately afterwards, according to the practice of Ninja World, the two of Naruto gave another symbolic blow to escape. Naruto said, "Where did you buy this skin? It looks awesome, but it looks a bit ugly." The second pillar means, you will never understand the world of soft sister coin players. Next, the two pillars hit Naruto 3 times and 5 divided 2. The boat of friendship completely capsized. Then, the two pillars pinched Naruto's neck with one hand. Lift him in the air. Chidori was sacrificed on the other hand, seeing that he was about to severely cut the bond between the two. At this time, Naruto finally figured it out. 3-legged toads are hard to find, but there are so many boys with 2 legs. After the big deal, I'll just play fetters with Yefeng. I won't take you anymore. Ever since, Naruto temporarily went to 9 tails to collect a rent, revealing a big ferocious tail, and then pressed the 2 pillars to the ground and started rubbing. And then, Urzuzi's mentality completely collapsed. I'm a soft sister coin player, I can't beat you, right? Impossible. There is no problem that cannot be solved by recharging. If there is, that must be enough money. Ever since the Urzuzi was replaced with the ultimate skin curse imprint 2 given to him by Orochimaru, and also replaced by the legendary 3-Tomo Sharingan, the strongest beauty contact lens. Beauty contacts and beautiful skin. This is awesome. Then, the weather has cleared and the rain has stopped. The second pillar is really okay this time. Really. After the two-staged and old-fashioned plot of Rasengan vs Chidori. Finally, the Battle of End Valley is finally over. Tisk tut. It's really exciting. Yi Feng came to Naruto who was dying. Check it out. Fine. Although Naruto fainted, the problem was not serious. After all, there lived a wealthy gold master. Paying out a day's rent can make him full of blood and resurrected. Ding. Congratulations to host for signing in successfully and getting rewards. Flying Thunder God Technique Grandmaster. Flying Thunder God. Yi Feng frowned. Flying Thunder God is an S-level space ninjutsu. This ninjutsu was developed by 2nd Hokage Senju Tobirama and shined in the hands of 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato. It can be said, after having this ninjutsu, the tactics of the ninja can become bells and whistles. It's dazzling. All kinds of deceit. Yi Feng is not a fan of bells and whistles. But, after having this ninjutsu, when dealing with some large-scale ninjutsu, the choice of Night Wind can be more flexible. Not bad. It's almost there, it's time to go back. The Night Wind held Naruto on his shoulders and headed towards the village. On the way, Yi Feng successively met the little friends who came to support. They all expressed their shock after meeting with Yi Feng. Shikamaru and the others came here almost stepping on Otonin's body. That way of death, it shocked their hearts. It's not that Otonin's death was terrifying. But they died too simple, too straightforward. Obviously it was dropped by Night Wind. As for the final battle, it completely shocked them. The battered earth pierced by bones indicates that the Night Wind may have just hit the map cannon here. Is this the real strength of Yi Feng? Why do you suddenly feel that the gap between everyone is getting bigger and bigger? Back to Konoha village, Naruto woke up leisurely. Night Wind, Sasuke. Naruto was very excited when he first saw Yi Feng, and quickly asked if Yi Feng had brought Sasuke back. That's a lot. Sassy has changed, forget him. Yi Feng shook his head and said. No, Zuo hasn't changed. He is still the young man from the classics. I must take him back to Konoha village. I have to get oil. Naruto clenched his fists. 2 lines of tears rolled down. Everyone sighed together. What is true love? This is the country of fire. The secret experiment center of Orochimaru. Who are you? Orochimaru. Sasuke looked at the strange man in front of him. My mind was suddenly alert. Although he doesn't know him. But, he could perceive an extremely dangerous breath from him. Hehe, Sasuke-kun, I am Orochimaru. It's a pity that you were late. Orochimaru's voice was hoarse, showing a pair of snake eyes. Immediately afterwards, he raised his finger, cast a face change. Then, sure enough, he became Orochimaru's appearance. Since you are Orochimaru, give me strength now. I want to become stronger and I want to kill that man. Sasuke's eyes were firm and full of fiery eyes. He firmly believes that Orochimaru will definitely make him stronger. After all, Orochimaru just handled 2 sets of skins for him. He defeated the Whirlpool Naruto. Such power, it's really wonderful. As that man Uchiha Itachi. In fact, even me, I am not Uchiha Itachi's opponent. Orochimaru said the news flatly. Orochimaru developed the secret technique of living corpse reincarnation in order to gain longevity. Although he can live forever by relying on this secret technique. But it caused his mental weakness. It is easy to be restrained by Itachi's illusion. But it's nothing shameful. After all, 100 years later, all his opponents are dead. Only he, Orochimaru, can still stand in the clouds of ninja world. This is the real winner. Quote question mark question mark question mark quote. When Sasuke heard the news, he showed a dazed expression. There are many question marks in my mind. What did you say? You can't beat Uchiha Itachi. Do you dare to say something to me? I spent all my hardships leaving Konoha village. Pursue the way to become stronger. Just to kill Uchiha Itachi. Result, You tell me you can't handle him. Then I'm still playing with woolen yarn. Hehe, Sasuke-kun, don't show this look. Although I will be restrained by Uchiha Itachi's Sharingan, but if it is Sharingan in my power, it may not be impossible to kill him. Orochimaru grinned grimly. That's right, after I Orochimaru got your body, I can beat Uchiha Itachi. Humph, let's start now. Teach me how to use the spell seal more effectively. Sasuke snorted coldly. That being the case, as long as I got the power of you Orochimaru, I can be the man who killed Uchiha Itachi. And also, I'm going to blast the hammer Yamanaka Night Wind. The two guys with their own ghosts reached a unanimous point of view. Konoha Village, Hokage office. Shikamaru and Yeka stand opposite Tsunade. Yefeng told Tsunade about the entire mission. Hey, the situation in the village has just improved, and the kid from Uchiha's family ran away. It's really a headache. Tsunade held his cheek, looked out the window listlessly. Fifth generation, what do you plan to do with Sasuke? Do you want to list him as a traitor? Shikamaru asked. Rebel. Tsunade looked far away at Hokage Iwagami's portrait of her grandfather. It seems to be preoccupied. The Uchiha clan and the Senju clan jointly founded Konoha Village. If Sasuke is listed as a rebel, the Uchiha clan will no longer belong to Konoha Village. Tsunade sighed. She is the fifth Hokage of Konoha Village. Naturally, I also know the bad things about Uchiha's family. Uchiha Itachi chose to exterminate the clan for the glory of the clan. Uchiha Sasuke chose to follow Orochimaru for revenge. Both of these brothers like to play cards out of common sense. So, if Konoha Village lists Sasuke as a traitor, how will Uchiha Itachi react? It's been so many years. Uchiha Itachi never sent any information to Konoha Village. So, Uchiha Itachi had already left Konoha Village in his heart, and he was not a spy who broke into Akatsuki from Konoha Village. Not long ago, Uchiha Itachi returned to Konoha Village with a high profile and took a round. It lights up like. Then, he instantly Kakashi. Draw with Jiraiya. Isn't this obvious already? When he came back, he wanted to tell the seniors of Konoha Village. Brother, I'm still alive. Don't mess with my Odudo. He bears all the hopes of the Uchiha clan. So, if now Tsunade would list Sasuke as a traitor, I am afraid Konoha Village will face revenge from the Uchiha brothers in the future. Ah, old third-generation man, look at what mess you left behind. Boom. At this time, the door of Hokage's office was suddenly knocked open. Whirlpool Naruto rushed in, tears of eyes whirling. Mother-in-law Tsunade, Sasuke is not a betrayal. He just stumbled for a while. I can definitely snatch him back from Orochimaru. Got to oil. Quote. Naruto said confidently. Naruto. But Sasuke has defected after all. Shikamaru's mood was also a little depressed. Although he couldn't bear to see Naruto become what it is now. But when the fact is before everyone's eyes. Can't tolerate sophistry. No, Sasuke did not defect. He is just a poor boy who was abducted by Orochimaru. He has never done anything unfavorable to Konoha Village, even he could kill me, but he didn't do anything, how could he be considered a defector? Quote. Naruto looked at Tsunade firmly. As if to say, the second pillar will always be the second pillar of Konoha Village. He will never betray us. I believe in him. Tsunade looked at Naruto thoughtfully. In fact, this is also good. The fact that Sasuke defected is established after all. If he wanted not to mark him as a betrayal, he had to spend some time explaining it. But, if Nine-Tails Jinchuriki comes out with rhythm, then she can also promote it. Naruto is right. Sasuke is not the enemy of Konoha Village. I will continue to send people to investigate Sasuke's whereabouts, and I must save him from the fire. Tsunade waved his hand, using her clumsy acting skills to make a sure gesture to Naruto. Thank you, Tsunade, mother-in-law. Naruto laughed happily. Well, since this matter is over, then I should go first. Yefeng left the mission scroll in front of Tsunade, preparing to leave Hokage's office. Hey, don't leave in a hurry. This is your next mission, S level. Let's set off tomorrow morning. Tsunade screamed for the night breeze, and bit out a brand new mission scroll from his arms. It is rare to encounter such an efficient labor force. Don't make a good profit. Isn't it a big loss? I go. This moment, Yi Feng directly exploded the foul language. Old woman, are you still shameless? You do the calculations yourself. How many tasks have I performed this month? I just came back now, and I helped Shikamaru and the others with a task. Why do you have the face to let me go out again tomorrow? You try to touch your conscience to see if it is speeding up, and you ask if it hurts. Seeing the night wind raging, Tsunade's eyes narrowed slightly. Sorry, one of my parts is too big to feel the speed of my heartbeat. Tsunade said quietly. You don't understand the woman of the big bear. I don't believe it. I want to try it myself. Kaido is not to be outdone by the night wind. Gurgling. Shikamaru and Naruto looked at each other. Swallowed. The corners of his eyes twitched. This is too exciting. But we are still two children. Slipped away. Don't delay other people's business affairs. Naruto and Shikamaru sneaked to the door and were about to push the door out. But this time, the three old guys suddenly opened the door and walked in. Long, elder, Shikamaru frowned. At this time, what are the three of them doing here? Yo, rare guest. The three of you don't hide at home, play with cats and dogs, play chess and drink tea. Are you here to find me something? Tsunade straightened his collar. Sit back to the desk dignifiedly. Tsunade, the old man heard that Uchiha Sasuke defected, but you just sent a Chunin to lead the hunt. Tsunade, now because of your command error, people are lost. How do you think this matter should be handled? Yes, although there are not many Jonin in the village who can perform tasks, it shouldn't be difficult to send Anbu out to cut the grass and roots. Tsunade, it's really not that we targeted you, it's that the consequences of Uchiha Sasuke falling into Orochimaru's hands are terrible. You should understand this. As soon as the three old guys entered the door, they questioned Tsunade aggressively. Yes, they grew up watching Tsunade. But they didn't like Tsunade since they were young. Now, Tsunade often contradicts them. They didn't pay attention to these elders at all. The three old guys have long wanted to find something. Now, they finally waited for the opportunity. The news of the three of you is really behind. Don't you know that Yi Feng is also involved in this mission? He is Jonin. Tsunade glanced at all three of them disdainfully. His eyes were full of disgust. She can work hard for the village as a gambler. No rest for a moment. Still ignorant of the conscience to squeeze the labor force of the night wind. But it does. The three of you old people only know the trick behind the scenes. My mother will abolish you sooner or later. Ha, it's no wonder Shikamaru and their mission will fail this time. It turns out that this Yamanaka night wind is also there. You detained Kaharu glanced at night wind with contempt. Yamanaka's attitude towards them is worse than Tsunade's. So, as long as there is a chance. You detained Kaharu was about to step on him. Quote question mark question mark question mark quote. What's wrong with me? You old stuff go out and inquire. Have you had any bad reviews on the tasks I performed this month? Dare you try to touch your conscience and see if it is accelerating? Do you ask if it hurts? At this time, Shikamaru and Naruto showed incredible looks on their faces. Classmate Yefeng, do you have to try this yourself? Heavy taste. Yamanaka night wind. Anyway, this mission failed. I think you have a great responsibility. I suggest that Yamanaka Yekas be handed over to Danzo, let him come for interrogation, and see if Yamanaka Yekas is in collusion with Orochimaru. Quote. Mitokado Homura sneered again and again, pointing at Yi Feng's nose. A look of sarcasm. However, Yi Feng is now in a violent time. Will he swallow? I saw it. A jet of dark knife light slashed through the air, directly cutting off Mitokado Homura's glasses. Old stuff, I remember I told you before, if you dare to speak at me, I will be rude to you. This time it's just a lesson. The right is to give fifth generation a face. If there is another time, the knife in my hand may not necessarily be where it was cut. Snapped. The glasses fell to the ground. Smashed into pieces. The entire Hokage office was silent. You are so courageous, how dare you do something to this elder? Mitokado Homura has a tingling scalp. He felt like he was walking behind a ghost door. He was angry, shaking all over. He wanted to point to Yi Feng's nose and yell at him. But the thought of Yi Feng just warned. This almost sticking out finger. It became nowhere to put it. Tsunade, Yamanaka night wind actually openly shot the elder. don't you hurry up and order Anbu to take him down. Udatane Kaharu clenched his false teeth, staring at Yi Feng fiercely. She couldn't wait to pounce on him and tear him up. But, go hard and go hard. Faced with the same knife technique just now, she didn't dare to make any trouble with a bad old lady. Tsunade, you always have to give us an explanation about this. Shimura Danzo narrowed his eyes and looked at Tsunade coldly. This moment, the three elders all pointed the finger at Tsunade. Since Yamanaka Night Wind doesn't convince us, then let you Hokage come and clean him up. The three elders have a good idea. Quan Shu played very slippery. But they forgot, Tsunade is a man who is as tigerish as the night wind. I saw it. Tsunade got up from the chair, walked to Yi Feng, and hugged him by the shoulders. Explain. What do you want to explain? Tell you the truth. You three old guys yelled at me as soon as they entered the door. I was very upset, so I asked Yi Feng to teach him. Are you not convinced? Do not forget, I am the Hokage of Konoha village. Tsunade said this. The expressions of the three elders changed instantly. Yes, you are Hokage, but even if you are Hokage, you can't fool us so blatantly, right? Tsunade, even if you want to cover the night wind, is your technique too low-end? Yes, we were there just now. When did you arrange for him to shoot? Why didn't we hear it? Facts speak louder than words. Tsunade, give up. Three elders, you and I say a word. It's very hilarious. But, Tsunade smiled disapprovingly again. Of course I said, didn't you three hear it? Shikamaru, Naruto, did you two hear it? Shikamaru and Naruto looked dumbfounded. Hear what? Especially the vortex Naruto. Naruto's brain circuit is slower. He didn't know whether he should have heard it or not. He didn't dare to say, he didn't dare to ask. Then, Naruto could only sneak a glance at Shikamaru from his side. I saw it. Shikamaru nodded like a chicken pecking at rice. Then, Naruto also began to nod. Regardless of the reason for nodding anyway. Just be consistent with the smart Shikamaru. Did you hear that? The ears of the masses are discerning. If only the three of you didn't hear it, I wonder if you have ear problems due to old age and physical weakness. If that's the case, are you three thinking about retiring? Tsunade's mouth was raised slightly, and he looked at the three old guys in disdain. Now, except for Naruto himself, everyone else is trying to understand and pretend to be confused. But, it doesn't matter if things are broken. So, although the third elder was very angry, but he can only throw out a ruthless word and leave. Sure enough, children and women are not easy to mess with. HMPH, look at the good things you do. If you insisted on having an old man succeeding Hokage, would something like this still happen today? Shimura Danzo looked at the two old men with hatred of iron and steel. Oh, I thought Tsunade had become a stupid drunkard and gambler. Who would have thought that she would be like this when she came back? Mitokado Homura sighed. It's useless to say anything now. Yamanaka is behind the 6 big families. He is wearing a pair of pants with Tsunade. What should we do in the future? Udatane Kaharu's eyes were serious. She felt that they had no cards in their hands. A good deck of cards. It turned out to be like this. It's like hosting. Humph, what can I do? With the strength of Yamanaka Night Wind and the power behind him, if we insist, we are afraid that we will only lose out. But, you all know the power of public opinion. The big deal is that the old man will control public opinion again and reproduce the script that killed Konoha's White Fang. Shimura Danzo squinted his eyes, a suffocating anger on his face. Isn't it possible to fight? Konoha's White Fang is better than you, but what's the use? It's not that I was killed by the old man's tactics. To be honest, wisdom is the strongest weapon. Then, for the next period of time, Konoha village suddenly has many inexplicable travelers. They have different skin colors, different accents. From the sky, South Blue comes from the north, although they don't seem to know each other. But, they were all talking about a name called Yamanaka. I heard that there is a ninja named Yamanaka in Konoha village. In order to get employers to give him a good review, he actually paid for him. What kind of praise rebate activities are really open? I also heard about it, but the version I heard is that Yamanaka Night Wind sells badly everywhere and engages in moral kidnapping. As long as the employer doesn't give him praise, he will kneel at his employer's door and cry. It is really unbearable. What are you all about? 2 days ago, I heard that an employer didn't give a good comment to Yamanaka Night Breeze. As a result, he came to the door and interrupted the employer's leg. The scene was very bloody. Tisk tusk tusk, it seems that when posting tasks, you can't just look at the ratings. Similar conversations are happening simultaneously in several other rooms. After looking around, Yamanaka nodded with satisfaction. Is it all recorded? Next, ask them to tell the person behind it. After the record is clear, it will be handed over to Master Hokage. Joke. My Yamanaka clan is best at doing things in other people's minds with illusions. Now, someone dared to arrange my son maliciously. Let's find death. That's all. Before Shimura Danzo's public opinion production plan was launched, it was already stifled by Yamanaka. As a punishment to Danzo, Tsunade directly removed Danzo from his position as an elder. Let him go back to retirement. Although Danzo was not convinced. But he can't help it. Tsunade has many supporters today. It is no longer what he can contend in politics. It's sad. For Konoha's prosperity and strength, the old man has always been conscientious and greedy for the dark. Anything the old man does is for the sake of Konoha village. Even if the old man wants to be Hokage, that is to be able to personally lead the progress of Konoha village. If Hokage is a leaf in the sun, the old man is the root in the shadow. But the old man actually fell into such a fate now. It's really sad. Another month passed. Because of the night wind's complaint, Tsunade finally no longer overdrafts Yefeng's labor force. He now has a lot of time to spend time with his family, friends, and women. Naruto also gradually emerged from the shadow of Sasuke's defection. In order to be able to catch up with Sasuke, Naruto went out to practice with Jiraiya. In the tavern, Yifeng drank a small wine on his own. Ding, you have a new sign in task, please check it carefully. Yifeng drank the remaining spirits in the jug in one sip. The task panel is opened. Host, please go to Zaifeng Valley to complete the sign-in. The mission is limited to 1 month. Zaifeng Valley, what is this place? Yifeng frowned, and was about to check it in the Wei nationalities data room. At this time, a fragrant wind suddenly hit. Mitarashi Anko appeared across from the night wind. Hey, brat, what do you think of my clothes? Do you look good? Mitarashi Anko changed the style of the big fishnet outfit and put on a tight-fitting cheongsam, giving her good figure at a glance. First, I don't call him hey, my name is Yamanaka Night Wind. Second, you dress like this and go on a blind date. Yifeng said with a smile. My sister, you have a new mission. Anko took a bunch of balls from the night wind, and ate them unceremoniously. Huh, how did you know? Yifeng was a little dazed. Yes, he did accept a new sign in task just now. But how could Anko know? Ooh, of course I know. This time the mission is for the two of us to form a team. I am the captain. We will leave tomorrow for Konoha village border support together. Anko's mouth was filled with round balls. The words are a bit vague. Go to the border to support. Yifeng frowned slightly, and asked, could it be related to Cloud Shinobi Village's troops in Unokuni? Yes, it is indeed related to Cloud Shinobi Village. Anko nodded. The fourth Raikage of Cloud Shinobi Village is a typical warmonger. Don't think it's a peaceful year. Cloud Shinobi Village is still frenzied. Now, the third Hokage of Konoha Village is dead, and the high-level structure in the village is shaken. The interior is not uniform. Fourth Raikage, who has already been around for a long time, will naturally not let go of this good opportunity to make war fortune. A month and a half ago, he had already increased his troops to the country of Yuno, and he was staring at the border of the country of fire. Had it not been for Tsunade's succession to Hokage, it would be more timely. Konoha village was reorganized, made the name of Thunder Country hesitate. Maybe, now Cloud Shinobi and Konoha are at war. I heard Hinata say not long ago that her father has led the elite of the Hyuga family to the border. What did the two of us now go for? Yifeng asked. Although Yifeng is very confident of his strength. But, on the battlefield, especially on the normal battlefield, the role of the collective is much stronger than that of the individual. Even if you need support, it should also be supported in a troop mode. What is the use of the two of them? Don't think too much, our mission this time is not going to the battlefield. The two of us only need to escort the material transport team there, cooperate with them symbolically, and then we can come back. Anko explained. Oh, is it really that simple? Yi Feng held a suspicious attitude. The border is tight. The materials are extremely important. So, the mission of Yefeng and Anko is to transport the materials safely to the battlefield on the border. Although the mission this time is only escort transportation. But, Anko and Yefeng are Jonin of Konoha village. Everyone is here. I can't justify it without any strength. But how does the so-called symbolic cooperation symbolize? There is a war there. The ghost knows what will happen. Of course it's easy. Don't think about it so much. Anyway, we won't leave until tomorrow. You have to have a good meal with me today, and it won't be a waste of me to dress up for a long time. Anko blinked at Yefeng. I secretly gave away several big autumn spinach. To this, Yefeng heart understands. I'll pay the bill, right? Just order it, right? Approve. Haha, I love you. Anko said the truth in a joking way. Night. After going home, Yi Feng told his family about his mission to the border tomorrow. What? Brother is going to Unokuni. I heard that the scenery there is very beautiful. People have long wanted to play, but unfortunately they have never had a chance. I really envy my brother. Little stars flashed in Ino's eyes. Ino, this time your brother is going to the border between Unokuni and Fireland to perform his mission, but he is not traveling to Unokuni. The mother shook her head and said, Yefeng, if only escorting the supply team to the border, the task is not too difficult. But when you get there, you have to pay attention to the deputy commander, Shinichi Kasahara, who is Shimura Danzo's old man. Quote. Yamanaka Hai gave a solemn reminder. Kasahara Shinichi is a ninja in the same generation as Yamanaka Ui. He is Danzo's old subordinate. Like an old fox, it is very difficult to deal with. Oh, that's right, it shouldn't be a big problem. After all, Hinata's father is also there. Yi Feng nodded. Since Tsunade removed Danzo from his position as an elder, Shimura Danzo did converge a lot. Yi Feng hadn't seen the three old guys jump out for a long time. But, use the night wind to understand Shimura Danzo. It is absolutely impossible for him to remain silent forever. Not perishing in silence, just two in silence. The longer the old silver coin is hidden, the more lethal it is when he moves. This truth night wind is clear. Yefeng, after you get there, you must remember to talk to your uncle Hiyashi more. If you have any problems, just ask him for help. Yamanaka Hai said. Well, I see. Yi Feng nodded. Today's Ino Shikacho has a very good relationship with the Hyuga clan. Hyuga Hiyashi is the commander-in-chief there. Yamanaka Keiichi is not too worried that Kasahara Shinichi will be embarrassed by the night wind. But it doesn't hurt to be careful. Haha, my brother is going to fight side by side with the future old man. Imagine that the picture must be very beautiful. Ino covered his mouth and laughed. These two people are very strange. As if you can never meet. But this time, it depends on what you guys do. Hey, isn't Tsunade assigned this task to me because of her bad taste? It always feels a little weird after the meeting. Yi Feng sighed helplessly. Ha ha ha, the family burst into laughter. 9 p.m. Yi Feng came to the database of the Yamanaka family alone. Although he will go to Konoha Frontier tomorrow to perform a mission. But, the information of Zaifeng Valley still needs to be checked. What if Keika's Valley is in Unokuni? Then he can lie down and complete the task. Hey, Yi Feng, come here to check the information so late. The clansman in charge of the clan database greeted Yi Feng. Well, I'm going out to do the task tomorrow. I will collect some information. Yefeng Kaido. Tisk tusk tusk, you really deserve to be a ninja with a high praise rate. The meticulous attitude towards the task is worth learning. The two exchanged simple greetings at the door. Subsequently, Yi Feng walked into the database of the Yamanaka clan. Zaifeng Valley, so many scrolls, it would be a bit troublesome to check it alone. Yi Feng looked at the size of the data room and touched his chin. Then, bang bang bang, Yi Feng learned from Naruto and used a continuous shadow clone. Target Stream Wind Valley, let's start everyone. Yi Feng's body ordered. Have to say, more people means more power. It took less than an hour. Yi Feng has found a travel notebook that records Zaifeng Valley. The Valley of the Stream Wind, is actually in the territory of the Moon Kingdom. The Moon Kingdom is a small guo-jia that is sandwiched between the Kingdom of Tang and the Kingdom of Thunder, and his presence in the ninja world is not particularly high. It's right next to Yunokuni. After the battle, I will sign in by the way. I don't know if there is this opportunity. Yi Feng shook his head. After all, the ninjas of Cloud Shinobi Village are stationed in Yunokuni. As the ninjas of Konoha Village, Yakuza is really not easy to say if there is a chance to go through them. But there is no time limit for this task anyway. When the time comes, it's time to take one step and look one step at a time. Then, Yi Feng memorized the geographic information recorded in his travel notes. Leaving the reference room, the next day, Enko changed back to her 10,000 years uniform. After the two walked through the process, ordered all the people, lead the transportation team to set off from Konoha Village. On the way, the two lay on the top of the carriage carrying supplies, basking in the sun. It looks very comfortable. I really miss the days when I was doing tasks with you. At that time, you were still a rookie. I just need to lie down and let you do your own work. Enko lay comfortably on the supply box, resting her arm on her, looking at the clouds and the sky. Actually, when you experience more things, you will understand. It doesn't make much sense to lie down and let others move. You still have to be more active when doing tasks, so you can live a life like this. Quote. Yefeng also maintained the same posture as Enko, lying next to her. Speaking of some messy things. Cut. It's as if you have experienced many things. You are not just a kid yourself. Say here. Enko retracted his gaze. One side of the body. Turned to the night breeze. Boy, why do I always feel that you are not like a kid sometimes? Enko asked. Yi Feng tilted his head. I looked at a certain part of Enko. Such a close distance. Such a tricky angle. GT. Yi Feng licked the corner of his mouth. It may be because some people want to seduce me at every turn. So I suggest that you still pay attention to it. I am really not a child anymore. Enko looked down at Yi Feng's gaze. The cheeks turned red in an instant. She quickly buttoned the clothes. Turned over. Turn your back to the night breeze. Bah, kid, it's no wonder that you are always with Jiraiya, you are really the same. Enko blushed and cursed Yi Feng. It's really a little fool. Regulate the old lady's breath at every turn. I don't know if he and Hinata are the one. The little girl didn't feel like a normal person either. Only such a young age. It's actually that big there. Enko, actually, you'd better lie down. Your current posture is actually very attractive. See the curve behind Enko. Yi Feng licked the corner of his mouth. The picture is beautiful. Yi Feng had to passively appreciate it. I'm taking the test. The old lady shouldn't be together like you. Hurry up and let me down. Enko glared at Yi Feng with a blushing face. I can't go down. You want to go down by yourself. Yi Feng put on a look of stubbornness. I just lie down. I want to move you. Then I'll go down. Enko blushed, and a body flicker technique fell on the ground, no longer paying attention to the night breeze. Hee, she really is a lovely girl. Yi Feng laughed. Began to close his eyes and rest. The delivery process went very smoothly. To be honest, although there were some conflicts between the two villages at the border. But, after all, Cloud Shinobi Village and Konoha Village have not officially started war. The two sides will not risk sending people to sneak into the enemy's country and perform some missions with a high risk factor. So, 3 days later, Yi Feng and his party successfully arrived at the border of the Fire Country. Enko, thanks for your hard work. Once these supplies arrive, our life will be more comfortable again. Hyuga Hiyashi said politely. Hyuga Hiyashi is the commander-in-chief of the border. After he finished handing over the supplies with Enko, he invited Enko and Yefeng into the command room. Senior Hyuga, we are just transporting supplies, which is nothing compared to you. Enko smiled. Don't look at Enko's usual carelessness. But on serious occasions, she still knows how to measure. By the way, Senior Hyuga, Cloud Shinobi Village is still the same as before. Does it send people to the border to make trouble? Enko asked. Well, Cloud Shinobi Village has always looked at Konoha. Although they have stabilized a lot after I brought the Hyuga family here, I always feel that they are going to do something again recently. Hyuga Hiyashi said in a deep voice. That's it, the ninjas of Cloud Shinobi Village are warlike by nature. It's really hard for you. Enko's face was solemn, and said, Senior Hyuga, if there is a place where I and Yefeng need to work, please direct us. We will do this time. The mission also includes border support, so please feel welcome. Okay, I'll let you know if I have something to do. Hyuga Hiyashi nodded and said, It's not too early today. You are tired of getting on the boat, and you should rest early. Let's talk about something tomorrow. Good. Enko walked out of the camp with the night breeze. The night breeze turned on. Byakugan observed the situation in Konoha camp. There are many ninjas in the camp. But the faces of most ninjas were full of exhaustion. There are also many wounded in the field hospital. Although the country of fire looks like everything is peaceful and good. But this is the battlefield. The two were about to reach their respective tents. Enko stopped suddenly, looked at Yifeng curiously and asked, Yefeng, isn't Hyuga Senpai your future father-in-law? Why didn't you see the two of you in contact with each other? After Enko finished speaking, she thought that Yifeng would attack her as usual. But Yifeng didn't mess around with her this time. He looked at Enko's eyes and said calmly, Enko, you should rest early. From tomorrow, we may be on the battlefield. Oh, I see, you should rest soon. Enko looked at Yifeng with a complicated gaze. This kid, how come you are so serious all of a sudden? This moment, Enko suddenly recalled a scene. In the picture. The man looked at her calmly, and said softly, Enko, there is a teacher, you don't need to go to the battlefield, after all, it is not the place where children should go. The next day, early in the morning, the night wind was awakened by the noisy voices outside the camp. Enko, what's the matter? Yifeng came out of the camp and just happened to ran into Enko who had come. I heard, last night, a team of 12 people went deep behind Cloud Shinobi to search for information, but only one came back alive. Enko swallowed. Those 12 people are all elites in the village. 3 Jonin, 9 elite Chunin, almost annihilated. Is this the horror of the battlefield? Inside the medical tent, Hyuga Hiyashi stood by the bed of the ninja who had returned alive and sighed as he watched him. Hiyashi-sama, we discovered last night that Cloud Shinobi had shipped a batch of offensive equipment, and they had added at least 300 combat power. It seems that they are going to make some big moves, and everyone needs to prepare for the war in advance. The ninja who survived by chance said to Hyuga Hiyashi. Hey, I know all about it. Just rest here, let us take care of the rest. Hyuga Hiyashi shook his head. Hyuga Hiyashi's eyes were heavy. That's 11 elite ninjas. Yesterday they discussed the future direction of this war together. Result, didn't see them all died in the back of the enemy army without seeing them all night. But, although they are dead, but they brought back information vital to the village. They are all heroes of Konoha village. He will write the name of each of them in the battle report sent to Tsunade. Let those who enjoy peace in the village remember their credit. This is the only thing he can do now. At the same time, in the corner of the barracks, Kasahara Shinichi took a letter from a Nenin in an animal mask. What a great person, this is a letter from Master Danzo. Please don't let Master Danzo down. After Nenin finished speaking, he immediately disappeared in place, as if he had passed here from the future. This is the style of Nenin. Kasahara Shinichi opened the letter. There was a haze in the muddy old eyes. It's really not a shame that it's Master Danzo. Even this time Cloud Shinobi Village's material transportation team leader is Eight Tails Jinchuriki. You can rest assured, subordinates will never let your old man down. Inside the conference camp, Hyuga Hiyashi gathered all Jonin and the leaders of each team together to discuss how to deal with Cloud Shinobi's force augmentation. Everyone has heard the information about Cloud Shinobi Village. They suddenly increased their troops, obviously they are preparing to launch a large-scale attack. What do you think about this? After Hyuga Hiyashi finished speaking, many people have put forward their opinions. Yifeng asked himself and he didn't know much about military affairs. So, he didn't interrupt either. After a while, Kasahara Shinichi suddenly stood up. Hiyashi, I have a plan. You can dissolve their offensive without the need for both sides to fight. Kasahara said lightly. Oh, tell me. Hyuga Hiyashi's eyes lit up. To be honest, although everyone is a ninja, but no one likes war. If you can really avoid a large-scale battle with Cloud Shinobi, that is naturally a good thing. The old man got a supply information about Cloud Shinobi village today. They will have a supply unit departing from Thunder Country in 2 days. Once they wait for the supply to arrive, they will launch a final attack. So, we only need to send a surprise attack team to set up an ambush on the supply route within the territory of Moon Kingdom and intercept and kill the supply team of Cloud Shinobi village. Naturally, the border will not be able to fight. There was an uproar in the big tent. To be honest, Kasahara Shinichi's plan itself is no problem. Nowadays, Cloud Shinobi is secretly increasing its troops and weapons, looking like it wants to make things bigger. But it was a bit late for Konoha to find out about this news. It is only now to let Tsunade increase troops to the border. It's too late. So, destroying the material transportation of Cloud Shinobi's troops is indeed a good strategy. But the best policy goes to the best policy. If the best plan is so perfect, there will not be so many counselors who come up with top, middle and bottom strategies to let the decision maker make a choice. After all, appropriateness is the most important thing. The elites of my Hyuga family are not afraid of tasks and hardships, but the characteristics of our people are too obvious to escape the surveillance of Cloud Shinobi village. Hyuga Hiyashi frowned. There are many masters in the Hyuga family. If you let the masters of the Hyuga family perform this mission of ambushing the Cloud Shinobi supply and transport team, there is no problem in itself. But the Hyuga family members are all Byakugan balls. It is estimated that they were discovered by Cloud Shinobi's spies before they left Unokuni. What else to talk about ambush? Although we do not have Byakugan, as a border force, we have confronted Cloud Shinobi village for a long time. Every one of us has information from Cloud Shinobi's spy, and we can't succeed if we go. Quote. A Jonin shook his head. Yes, although Shinobi Kasahara's plan is good, we can't implement it at all. It's better not to waste manpower and just fight with Cloud Shinobi here. Another Jonin stood up and offered his opinion. To this, Shin Kasahara raised his eyelids. He glanced at everyone with a smile for a week. Everyone, the old man didn't say to let you go. After all, didn't our border troops just arrived with 2 new Jonin yesterday? Kasahara Shinichi glanced in the direction of Yoke's and Anko. The intention is very obvious. Yamanaka Yekas and Mitarashi Anko are both excellent ninjas in our Konoha village, but the Cloud Shinobi agents at the border are not familiar with them. As long as they dress up a little, it will not be a big problem to avoid the monitoring of Cloud Shinobi agents. Kasahara said lightly. This, Hyuga Hiyashi frowned. Have to admit, Kasahara's suggestion is very reasonable. Now, the ninja in this big tent. Indeed, only the 2 of Yefeng are more suitable for this task. But this task is dangerous, if you let the Night Wind take risks. In case something goes wrong again in the middle. How can he explain to Hinata when he goes back? How to explain to Ino Shikacho? Anko glanced at Night Wind secretly. There was a nervous look on her face. Although Anko is a special Jonin in the village, rich mission experience. But she has never performed such a dangerous task. Oh, by the way, Hiyashi, I heard that your daughter has a good relationship with Yamanaka. It is really not suitable for him to take risks. Otherwise, we can discuss other countermeasures. Kasahara Shinichi smiled faintly and stood on the moral high ground. Although he seems to be giving in. But in fact, Hyuga Hiyashi has no way out. Kasahara Shinichi, what do you mean by this? How could the patriarch be disregarding selfishness? Yes, I think your plan itself is inappropriate, and the patriarch does not need to agree. The elites of the Hyuga family stepped forward to accuse Kasahara Shinichi. But Shinichi Kasahara just smiled slightly at this. He did not speak, just staring at Hyuga Hiyashi indifferently. Waiting for Hyuga Hiyashi to make a decision. Kasahara Shinichi was originally the commander-in-chief of the border forces. But because Cloud Shinobi village is pressing every step of the way, make the border of the country of fire more and more dangerous. So, Tsunade sent Hyuga Hiyashi to replace Shinichi Kasahara on the grounds that Shinichi Kasahara's command was unfavorable. To this, although Kasahara Shinichi didn't say anything on the surface, he was still dissatisfied with Hyuga Hiyashi in his heart. Nowadays, he has a rare opportunity like this. If the night wind is gone, then he will not disappoint his Lord Danzo. If the night wind does not go, then he can also take the opportunity to use public opinion to build momentum to suppress Hyuga Hiashi, and maybe even regain his position as commander-in-chief. One stone two bird. This strategy is arrogant. Regarding this point in Isshin Kasahara, Hyuga Hiashi can see clearly and clearly. But, even if he understands Kasahara's sinister intentions, but he couldn't crack it for a while. Now the enemy is present. Such a thing happened internally, which really made him feel very embarrassed. But, just when he was hesitant, Yi Feng stood up suddenly, smiled slightly. This old man has some truth in what he said, so let me perform this task. I also just want to go to the moon country to see it. The voice of Yi Feng fell. Hyuga Hiashi and Mitarashi Anko raised eyebrows at the same time. Mitarashi Anko pulled the corner of Yi Feng's clothes and whispered, "Yi Feng, do you know what this mission represents? It's easy to lose your life." "Yes, Yi Feng, you are too young to have assassination experience. I think this matter needs to be considered again." Hyuga Hiashi also persuaded. Now, Hyuga Hiashi's mood is very mixed. So many years have passed. He and Yi Feng never had a formal conversation. Hyuga Hiashi never expected it. Their first conversation. It turned out to happen in this situation. "Don't worry, Uncle Hiashi, I am not as weak as you think. Just leave this task to me. Tsunade asked me to come, isn't it just for me to help you?" Quote. The corner of Yi Feng's mouth was picked. Smiled disapprovingly. That guy Tsunade. He deliberately chose to let Yi Feng perform this mission, just to make Yi Feng do his best. Only, they didn't expect Danzo to be a stumbling block behind his back. "What a hero, Yamanaka, you are great." Kasahara saw that his goal was achieved. Smiled slightly. "Give Yi Feng a thumbs up." At this time, Yi Feng turned his head and grinned at Kasahara Shin. "Old man, you are great too, I'll give you a thumbs up when I come back." After the candidate for the task is determined, Hyuga Hiashi left Anko and Yi Feng alone. "Yukas, you really shouldn't have promised Kasahara Shinichi just now, he was just aiming at you by doing this." Hyuga Hiashi sighed. "Yes, Night Wind, we don't belong to the border troops, we don't need to listen to his opinion at all." Anko also breathed a sigh. Yi Feng smiled. He is not a fool. Especially Yamanaka Keiichi had already told him about the identity of Kasahara Shinichi. This time, Kasahara really recommended that Yukas go to the moon country to perform the mission. It must be another thing behind the old silver coin of Shimura Danzo. In other words, this time, the Cloud Shinobi material transport team is very likely to be difficult to deal with. But how can Danzo know? The goal of Yi Feng was to rush to the sign-in mission to Zaifeng Valley. What supplies are not supplied? Hit what you can. Forget it if you can't fight. Anyway, in the impression of the Night Wind, Cloud Shinobi and Konoha did not fight in the end. What does he care about so much? So, the task should be picked up. The Night Wind is not afraid. Is it a big deal? It's okay, I have my own measures. Let me go alone for this task. This is more flexible, Yi Feng said nonchalantly. What nonsense are you talking about? How could I rest assured to let you go alone? Anko looked at Yi Feng with a serious face, and said, "Don't forget, I am your instructor." Anko akimbo angrily. My eldest Anko is a person who is greedy for life and afraid of death. I'm just worried about you. Yi Feng, Anko is right, I think you two should go together so that you can take care of each other. Hyuga Hiashi said solemnly. But you must pay attention to one thing. If you encounter a very serious danger when performing a task, even if the task is not completed, you must make sure to retreat. Hyuga Hiashi exhorted again. Sometimes, even if you work hard, you may not be able to complete the task. So, Hyuga Hiashi didn't want to see Yi Feng die in vain. Don't worry, I won't die. After all, I will marry your daughter as a wife in the future. Yi Feng shrugged and smiled. My Yi Feng's young training plan is about to be cultivated. This time, am I going to die? Joke. Quote. Quote. Hyuga Hiashi. Quote. Quote. Mitarashi Anko. This stinky kid. It's really not serious at all. After Yi Feng and Anko left Konoha Daying, they removed the forehead protector from Konoha village. Yi Feng tied a turban on his head to block the diamond-shaped imprint of the 100 healings mark. Hyuga Hiyashi is really relieved. He even suggested that the two of us dress up as husband and wife. Isn't he afraid that I will steal her girl's boyfriend? Enko said with her lips curled. She put on a lady's dress, dressed up beautifully, holding Yi Feng's arm. The two are like lovers on their honeymoon in the country of Yuno. Very natural. What is there to worry about? Know about polygamy? Yi Feng shrugged. Enko glared at Yi Feng with a blushing face. What a wolf ambition. Still want to harvest it. But my old lady is okay anyway. Go ahead. We are about to enter the territory of Moonland. The Moon Nation is a subject of Thunder Nation, so there will be a large number of Cloud Shinobi spying activities here. You must pay attention to it and don't reveal our identity. Enko is the guide Jonin of Night Wind. She couldn't help but teach Yi Feng again. I think so. Look at other couples, they kiss me and me there, should we kiss the same? Yi Feng looked at Enko with a smirk. I want to go up in person. Kid, don't go too far. Enko's cheeks flushed suddenly, pushing the night breeze away, and the deer bumped in his heart. What's wrong with this? By the way, you haven't been kissed yet, have you? Yi Feng continued to speak sorrowful words disapprovingly. Admiring Enko's blushing face. Enko in this state is more like a woman. I ignore you, I'm leaving now. Enko quickened his pace angrily. Actually, Enko was not angry, she just didn't want to be too weak in front of the Night Wind. Hey, didn't you say that you can't reveal your identity? What's the matter if you go by yourself? Yi Feng shrugged and chased after him. HMPH, haven't you seen a couple quarrel? This is true enough, okay. Enko turned his face and glared at Yi Feng. Yi Feng, that's all. Along the way, the two talked and laughed. Noisy, finally arrived in the land of the moon. Yi Feng, it seems that the direction you took me is not the route of the Cloud Shinobi transportation team in the intelligence. Enko asked inexplicably. Well, I will take you to a place called Zaifeng Valley. I heard that the scenery there is beautiful. Yi Feng said. Chapter 71. The map he had seen appeared in Yi Feng's mind. He is going to go to Brookwind Valley to complete the sign-in first. As for the task, feel sorry, we were too slow, and when we got there, the transport team had disappeared. We confessed our mistake, and when we got there, the transport team had disappeared. Isn't this nonsense? Just open your mouth. Stream Valley, how beautiful is it? Why take me there? Enko flushed. Although this would delay the mission, she did not refuse. Don't ask as the husband and the wife. Yi Feng laughed. Enko. The two arrived at Zaifeng Valley. Looking at the way in the valley, Enko frowned. Hey, is this the beautiful scenery you said? Enko asked not angrily. The Night Wind looked around for a week. Regardless of the name Zaifengu, the name is very elegant. In the travel book that Yi Feng read, it does record a lot of beautiful scenery about Zaifeng Valley. But it may be due to overdevelopment over the years. The scenic Zaifeng Valley has now become a barren valley. Even the roads in and out of the valley are very narrow. But this is understandable. After all, you even think of places like Chuya Lake as beautiful, let alone here. Enko curled his lips. I really believed in the evil of this kid. The imaginary perfect atmosphere collapsed directly. Yi Feng walked to the center of Zaifeng Valley. Ding. The Night Wind triggered the sign-in. Ding. It is detected that the host has arrived at the check-in location, and the system starts to check in. The check-in takes half an hour. Please do not leave halfway. Yi Feng frowned. Half an hour. Just stay here dry with Enko for half an hour. It would be okay if two people could do something special. Half an hour may soon pass. But now, hey, just when Yi Feng Huyu Enko signed in with him. On a sheep farm trail, a seemingly humble ninja was driving fast. Master, why don't we leave the big road, and have to take such a small road? If you guessed it wrong, Konoha did not set an ambush on the main road, but set an ambush on the small road. Wouldn't we have fallen into the trap? Quote. Omoyi is a disciple of Eight Tails Jinchuriki Killer Bee. Although he is outstanding, smart, but he has a special system that is unreasonably worrying. I often worry about this and that. So, he was often severely beaten by the black girl Karui. Don't talk nonsense, please. Master chose to take this path because he was not worried about an ambush at all. He just wanted to go to Zaifeng Valley to find the rapper in the small town in front of him for PK. Am I right, Teacher Killer B? Quote, Black girl said carelessly. Well, only Omoy can't see the master's intention. However, we are shouldering the heavy responsibility of transporting supplies and doing rap in the middle. Is this really good? Quote. Sam said calmly. Samui, Omoi, Karui. All three of them are disciples of Eight Tails Jinchuriki Killer B. Karui has a dark skin, a grumpy personality, and average strength. Omoi is agile and quick to learn skills. He is a rare ninja of genius swordsmanship. Sammy's strength lies between Karui and Omoi. But Sammy is very knowledgeable, cautious and calm, and is a very good jonin. But her biggest feature is actually her figure and appearance. The appearance is not weaker than Anko. The body is stronger than Tsunade. And hot body and cold personality. This hot and cold two diametrically opposed temperament blended together. It makes Sam Yixian especially attractive. Badge Duck Road. Tired Duck Road. Come here when I want to rap. What missions, responsibilities, wars, it will make you feel melancholy when you hear it. In response to the three disciples' complaints. It's a crappy short rap by Killer B. Hey, you really can't do anything with Master. That's all. The Killer Bee team rapped all the way through the Master and passed through the intestinal tract. Finally, they came to Zaifeng Valley. And this time, Yefeng still took Anko to sign in the middle of the narrow road. It looks like someone is blocking the road ahead. I'll go over and take a look. Sammy frowned, stopped. Subsequently, she flashed up and down several times and came to Yefeng and Anko. Who are you two and what are you doing here? Samui asked, staring at Yefeng and Anko. Of course we signed in here. Yifeng said very honestly. Check-in, what's the check-in? Samui frowned. She felt that the two people in front of her were a bit weird. The female has a great body, although not as good as her. But it is also very beautiful. Male, very handsome. Long and tall, but he always feels that his age is not particularly old. What are these two people doing in the middle of the road? The two of us are husband and wife. My wife's wish is to sign in everywhere. We are now signing in at Zaifeng Valley. Yifeng talked serious nonsense. Oh, Samui's expression was flat. Yifeng couldn't tell whether she believed his nonsense. Our car is going to pass by here, can you let it go first? Samui asked. That won't work. Yifeng immediately shook his head and explained. Signing in is a very religious thing for our husband and wife. We still have 3 minutes to finish signing in, and we can't leave yet. Anko watched the night breeze talk nonsense, but in my heart secretly groaned. Although the other party could not recognize the two of them. But Anko has already recognized Killer B sitting in the car. That's Fourth Raikage's younger brother. Eight Tails Jinchuriki of Cloud Shinobi Village. It is said to be perfect Jinchuriki. It looks like they should be the transport team responsible for transporting supplies to the border of the Fire Country. But, according to the information given by Kasahara Shinichi, shouldn't they walk on a north road? Why did you get here? And, what's the matter with Yifeng? Had he expected that Cloud Shinobi's transport team would choose to go to Zaifeng Valley? That's why he took her here to wait and see. But the opposite is not a little white rabbit at all. This is clearly a tiger with 3 cheetahs. The risk factor is extremely high. What's the matter, Samui? What are these two guys doing here? Didn't you see that our car has arrived? Why didn't you get out of the way? Black girl Karui walked over arrogantly. He looks like he wants to kick the night wind out. Oh, Karui, don't get excited. What if the two of them are masters? Wouldn't it be easy for you to make enemies for us by doing this? Omoi said cautiously. He always feels like something is going to happen today. Cut. Afraid of Mao. With a master, this girl is not afraid of anyone. The black girl held her head high. But, looks like I haven't seen any menacing. Good. Then we will wait for you for 3 minutes. Sammy ignored the quarrel between the two companions. Isn't it 3 minutes? The young couple are quite romantic. I'm jealous. That's all. 3 minutes passed. Ding. Congratulations to host for signing in successfully and get reward. 100 healings mark upgrade, Dantian Seal Grandmaster. Yifeng frowned. Pubic seal. This moment, Yi Feng could clearly feel that there was a special space appearing in his dantian. The chakra stored in the diamond mark on his forehead also instantly merged into his dantian. Become more solid and extremely solid. And, theoretically, when the night wind runs the chakra extraction technique, the refined chakra will be directly imported into the dantian, and no longer need to be stored in the meridians. So, his chakra extraction speed and purity have also been greatly improved. This wave is really getting stronger. Too much stronger. Okay, the time is up, let's go over, everyone. Yi Feng smiled. Very cooperative with Anko and gave way to a path. At this moment, Anko's heart is actually very nervous. She had no idea what Yi Feng wanted to do now. Beat. Still not playing. In fact, Yi Feng didn't think so much. He just wants to complete the sign-in task and leave. After all, the transport team in Cloud Shinobi Village is the Killer Bee team. Yi Feng didn't want to conflict with them either. And, after returning to the border, he can also say that he did not wait for the Cloud Shinobi transport team on the route in the intelligence. There are no flaws at all. Perfect. Samyi and the three were about to drive through in a ninja car. But this time, Killer Bee suddenly looked at the night wind and said, "Boy, I have a friend who said that a very strange chakra wave just appeared in your body. So, are you a ninja?" Hear the inquiry of Killer Bee. The night wind was slightly startled. The tail beast is really a special life form gathered by chakra. Yi Feng asked himself that the chakra fluctuations in his body had converged very well. But, just when 100 healings mark was upgraded to Dantian Seal, 8 tails can detect this energy fluctuation. Then, Yi Feng is preparing to start the flicker mode. But Anko may be a little nervous. She involuntarily made an action to open the ninja bag. But, she did not hide the ninja bag on her body. At this time, Anko was startled slightly. Samui's short sword has been out of the sheath. HMPH, your actions have betrayed you. I don't think you are like good people. Clang. Samui's knife skills are very fast, and the timing of his shots is also very clever. But, such a knife was lightly blocked by Yi Feng with the handle of the knife. This beautiful young lady, in the face of 2 strangers, does it need to be so cruel to shoot? Yi Feng smiled faintly. The smile is very sunny. But Samyi felt a sense of crisis that he had never had before. Whoosh. Samyi has a little tiptoe. Back to Killer Bee's side. Who are you guys? What's the purpose of stopping here? Samyi asked coldly. Didn't we tell you? We came here to sign in. Now that the sign-in is over, can we go now? Yi Feng shrugged. I even told you the truth. You don't believe it. Why do you make me feel so embarrassing? Boy, your knife looks familiar, can you pull it out for me to take a look? Killer Bee whizzed out in front of Yi Feng. He doesn't care if Yi Feng is willing or not. Directly stretched out his hand and grabbed it at the hilt of Oni Toru. Uncle, it's not a good habit to use other people's knives at will. Yi Feng raised the corner of his mouth, flipped his wrist, and avoided Killer Bee's grab. This is not a casual move. I have a friend who said that you call the knife the demon sword ghost torture. Why do I feel a little familiar? Killer Bee touched his chin. Ghost, Master, are you talking about the black knives of Konoha Village? They are indeed the ambushes of Konoha Village. Samyi said coldly. Sam has a strong knowledge from Bowen. As soon as she heard the name of Ghost Toru, she immediately thought of a piece of information she had read. Konoha Village is a newcomer to Jonin Yamanaka, who is good at swordsmanship. The sword is a black sword, named Ghost Toru. Look, Master, as the saying goes, the imaginary is the real, and the real is the imaginary. I said that instead of walking on the road, we are going to the internet cafe. Omoi helped his forehead. However, they only rushed to stop our car with only 2 of them. It seems that they should be masters. A strange look suddenly appeared on Omoi's face and said, Ah. Have you noticed it? All my worries today come true. Although Omoi looks like a fool on the surface. But, he had pulled out the shinobi behind his back and was ready to fight. Hey, Yi Feng sighed. We are the ninjas of Konoha Village. That's right, but it doesn't conflict with what I said before. Can't the ninjas of Konoha Village get married? Can't the ninjas of Konoha Village travel to Moon Country? Why, don't the ninjas of Konoha Village have the right to forbearance? Yi Feng shrugged helplessly. He was about to try to use his 3-inch tongue for the last time. But obviously, the opposite player is not mentally retarded. They don't even listen to Yifeng talking about these messes. Humph, don't talk about these useless. Since you are the ninjas of Konoha village, and you are still in the way of transporting supplies, then go to death for me. The grumpy black girl Karui was the first to draw a knife and rushed up. What kind of marriage? Travel. Now there is going to be a war. Are you kidding us? To this, Yifeng could only sigh again. Anko, go on, but you have to be careful not to get too far away from me. Yifeng exhorted Anko. Well, don't worry. Anko nodded. Then, the battle begins. Night Wind faces Killer Bee. Anko is besieged by 3 of Killer Bee's disciples. Clang clang clang. Although Killer Bee seems unreliable, but his sword skills are very strong. His signature action is called slashing the sword. You can use all parts of your body and use 7 ninja swords at the same time. 7 swords flow. Killer Bee's moves are flexible and quick, and his attacking techniques are incredible. Even the second pillar, who was good at using ninja swords, was stabbed by Killer Bee's sword skill several times. But the Night Wind is not 2 pillars. Yifeng's Konoha flow knife technique has already been promoted to the ultimate realm by signing in. So, although Killer Bee has a weird sword, it moves quickly. But all are within the processing range of the Night Wind. Boy, the knife is very good, it can block me so many rounds of attack. Killer Bee praised as he played, but my next move is not so easy to deal with. ZZZ. A burst of tyrannical electric current sounded. Ultrasonic shock lightning style knife. This move is also Killer Bee's signature move. Inject a special lightning style chakra on the blade. Not only can the sharpness of the blade be strengthened, but also the lightning style can be used to induce high-frequency vibration waves. Extremely lethal. But the wind style enchantment of Night Wind is not covered either. Especially after he got the pubic seal. Chakra is more solid. The power of the wind blade is also better than before. Boom boom boom. Wind style versus lightning style. The two were inextricably fought. No, it's not a way to fight like this. It's a huge loss for me to fight with a Jinchuriki, and he is still a perfect Jinchuriki. Yifeng fights with Killer Bee. While thinking in mind. Since the two are on par with each other in swordsmanship. So, Yifeng's only sure move was a flat cut. But the cost of activating the sword is too great. This is not a question of throwing a knife casually. If the timing of launching the sword is not particularly good. Did not hit Killer Bee. It's hard to fight behind that. At this time, Night Wind noticed Anko's problem again through Byakugan. Anko's strength is not particularly strong. Under the siege of Killer Bee's 3 apprentices, the defense was stretched. Sammy finally found a flaw in Anko, and short sword volleyed it down. The knife surprised Anko, although she barely avoided. But his arm was still cut by Sammy's short sword. If you continue like this, you may die here. You must break through their siege. Anko's thoughts turned sharply. But Anko is aware of the seriousness of the problem. But the 3 of the opponents cooperated tacitly and completely blocked her breakout route. Although body replacement technique and clone technique seem unreasonable, they all need to be printed in advance. Mostly used for tactical tricks. If you really encounter the current danger. These 2 ninjutsus simply cannot save the life of the ninja. As for body flicker technique. Although body flicker technique can make the ninja move at a very fast speed. But body flicker technique is just a physical movement after all. The 3 of Sammy have rich combat experience, and have already blocked all possible routes for Anko to be instantaneous. Said unceremoniously, if Anko dared to use the body flicker technique to escape under their siege, she would definitely hit the opponent's blade directly. So, this moment, Anko is in danger. The other side. 8 Duck Roads, tired Duck Roads. You still have the energy to worry about your companions. It seems that my sword skills are being underestimated again. After a short rap, Killer Bee twitched the corner of his mouth. Next, let you experience my 8th knife. This is a real 8-sword flow sword technique. Killer Bee's voice fell off. Tailed Beast Code mode is turned on. A big evil red tail appeared on the top of the head, which turned into a chakra knife and rushed towards the Night Wind. 8-sword stream. Yifeng frowned. He did not choose to go with Killer Bee hard steel. Because the pressure on Anko's side is too great. He must save her. Brush. Killer Bee's 8 swords rushed over, but only cut a phantom of night wind. 8 duck roads, tired duck roads. It's flying thunder god. Where are you, sacred kid? Just when Killer Bee was surprised, Yi Feng had already appeared beside Anko. Brush. Yi Feng stabs Sam Yi to retreat at the same time. Anko, are you okay? Yi Feng glanced at the cut on Anko's arm, showing a concerned look on his face. Don't worry, I'm fine. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Anko quickly sprinkled some hemostatic medicine on his arm to suppress the injury. At this time, Killer Bee flashed to the front of the 3 disciples, looked at Yi Feng indifferently, and stretched out his hands. Medicine, cheek, trouble. 8 Tails Jinchuriki wants a bunker. Today I will kill you all. Killer Bee expressed their attitude with a short, concise, rural rap. Since the fight has started, then have a good time. What's more, this kid is still the descendant of Konoha's golden glitter, and he must not stay alive. Yefeng, you go first. I will help you hold them, otherwise, we too may not be able to leave. Anko's face was solemn, and his gaze towards Yefeng was extremely complicated. If it continues to drag on like this, she will only hurt Yi Feng. So, for the night wind, Anko felt it was time for her to use the power that the man left her. Anko, stop talking stupid, you will be fine with me. Yi Feng's voice was flat, and he stepped forward. This moment, Anko looked at Yi Feng's tall back, and suddenly felt at ease in her heart. This back, it seems familiar. Killer Bee, don't you just depend on the number of people? Actually, I can too. Ninfa multiple shadow clone technique. Bang bang bang. Puffs of white smoke rose. A continuous night wind shadow clone appeared. Konoha Village's multiple shadow clone techniques. At this time, you actually chose to use this kind of ninjutsu. Your tactical choices are really a mess. Sammy said coldly. As usual, the clones created by multiple shadow clones will equally divide the chakra of the main body. So, although the number has increased, but the power of the body has been greatly weakened. But, after Yi Feng had his Dantian seal, he has been able to control the flow of chakra in his body very precisely. Chakra will not be divided by ninjutsu at all. He can use the extra chakra in his pubic area to create clones at will. Will not affect the power of the body. So, the body of Yefeng is still very strong. Next, with the addition of Night Wind Shadow Clone, a qualitative change has finally taken place in the battle between the two sides. Even Anko has begun to gain the upper hand. 8 duck roads, tired duck roads. After using Shadow Clone, you still have this kind of combat power. You are very mysterious. Killer Bee controls the 8 sword flow, and the attacking rhythm is fast. But, never mind that Yi Feng had only a shinobi sword in his hand. But he could easily block Killer Bee's onslaught. To be honest, I was really only signing in at Zaifeng Valley. I was not so interested in your supplies, but since you are pushing me so hard, don't blame me. Yi Feng said coldly. Subsequently, puff, a shadow clone emerged from the dirt. A dozen of Yamanaka's best detonating charms were pasted on Killer Bee's ninja car that transported supplies. Boom, the detonator exploded. A flame soared into the sky, tearing apart the defensive barrier arranged on the shinobi. The supplies of Cloud Shinobi Village are destroyed. Master, stop playing with knives. Come and show your true strength. Samui shouted loudly. The task of the Killer Bee team is to deliver supplies. Although this task seems very common. But, these materials are very important to the war at the border of Unokuni. But now, the supplies have been blown up by the night wind. This means that their mission has failed. The strategic layout of Cloud Shinobi Village will also be seriously affected. Samui knew without thinking that they would be punished by Raikage after they returned. Killer Bee is Raikage's younger brother, and Raikage may just need to reprimand him. But they are all juniors. The punishment to be accepted will not be easy. So, they must atone for their sins. Then, Sam gleamed in his eyes. Short Sword's offensive rhythm is getting faster and faster. But, Night Wind's Shadow Clone is not the kind of balloon that Naruto bursts with a single poke. Each of them possesses superb swordsmanship and physical skills, which puts a lot of pressure on the Killer Bee team. Medicine, cheek, trouble. You actually got rid of all our supplies. My 8 Tails Jinchuriki will blow you all up. Rumble. Killer Bee finally got angry. He opened the ultimate form, directly incarnate as Eight Tails. Is this, just kidding? Is this what perfect Jinchuriki means? Anko swallowed. In Anko's view, they may have hope of winning against Jinchuriki. After all, Yi Feng's strength is also very unreasonable. But, if you play against Eight Tails directly, the nature will be different. That's a tail beast, faced with such a behemoth. Anko's heart was completely cold. This is simply not something ninja can deal with. It's impossible even to activate Orochimaru's curse. Finally against Gundam. Come on, let me try my weapon. Yi Feng held the black knife tightly in his hand, and the incomparable chakra in his dantian rushed out. Boom! The terrifying sword force swept out, condensed into a black crescent in midair, and rushed towards the huge body of Eight Tails. If the Night Wind is facing only Killer Bee, this sword might not be able to hit him. But, it's different when facing a big guy like Eight Tails. It is almost like a living target, the target is very obvious. Roar! The attack power of Eight Tails is very strong. But, the speed of Yefeng's knife is too fast. Eight Tails never thought that humans could use such a terrifying knife attack. So, it was too late to use Tailed Beast Bomb for a large-scale attack, and could only use chakra tentacles to wrap up the vitals of the whole body, ready to take the Night Wind blow. But at this moment, a shadow clone hiding on the mountain suddenly became imprinted with both hands, and then coldly pronounced the name of ninjutsu. Secret method frightening thorns. Surprised. A secret technique of the Yamanaka clan. The spirit that can attack the target in an instant. As predicted, Eight Tails was caught off guard by a shocking sting of the Night Wind shadow clone. Its mind instantly rose. The tentacles were all over their heads. However, Yi Feng's sword force has been attacked and killed. Boom! There are countless wind blades mixed in the blade, violently destroying every inch of Eight Tails' skin. What? Eight Tails let out a cry of pain, and the huge body was blasted away directly. Boom! Not waiting for Eight Tails to stand up again. Yi Feng's second knife slashed over again. Eight duck roads, tired duck roads. This kid even concealed such a move. Killer Bee was shocked. Xiaobi, this kid's moves are weird, he can attack the spiritual world, and the sword in his hand is a ghostly sword, so if you don't have complete information, you should not try to hard steal with him. Eight Tails said to Killer Bee in his head. Okay, let's withdraw first. Killer Bee nodded. Subsequently, Eight Tails used a tail docking escape technique. The huge figure disappeared in place. Only a small tail was left. Immediately afterwards, the ground behind Anko's group split apart. 4 evil tentacles stretched out from the ground. Obviously, Killer Bee not only wanted to take away the 3 disciples, but also planned to take Anko away with him to spy on the information of the Night Wind. But, the Flying Thunder God of Night Wind is not built. He returned to Anko in an instant. Cut out in one fell swoop. He not only kept Anko, but also Sammy. Bang bang bang. At the same time, the remaining shadow clone suddenly moved in the direction of Eight Tails, throwing out a lot of detonating charms and smoke bombs without money. Wait until the smoke has cleared. Night Wind Anko Sammy's 3 figures have disappeared. Obviously, some shadow clone sent by Yefeng just now took away a lot of Flying Thunder God Kunai. Become the retreat tool of the Night Wind. Killer Bee couldn't catch up with them at all. But to be reasonable, Killer Bee is actually very strong. Although Yi Feng defeated him this time. But he hasn't drifted far enough to think that he is better than the perfect Jinchuriki of Eight Tails. This time the victory. It's all because of the shock. Unfortunately, this kind of trick won't work the second time. Because if the other person is deliberately guarded, he can dodge chakra, a spiritual attack. This is the importance of combat intelligence. But Yi Feng believes, next time they meet again, his own strength will definitely improve again. When others think that his combat power is 100, he can always use 105 to stun the opponent. After half an hour, in a hidden cave in the Moon Kingdom, Yi Feng has helped Anko deal with the knife wound, sprinkled the Yamanaka's secret medicine on it, and carefully bandaged it. Yefeng, are you really going to take this guy back? There won't be any problems on the road, right? Anko frowned. She glanced at Sammy who was leaning on the cave wall with a dull expression, and she always felt something wrong in her heart. Yi Feng said he would take Sam Yi back alive. But If this woman was dishonest along the way and let them expose their identity, then they will face the roundup of Cloud Shinobi ninjas. Don't worry, he has fallen into my illusion. In her consciousness, she is now following her husband to live in his hometown. Yi Feng smiled disapprovingly. It's all right. What about me? What is my identity? Anko looked at Yi Feng with a weird expression. Even playing cosplay with illusion. This is too crazy. You are my wife too, haven't you learned about polygamy? Yi Feng laughed. You. Anko shook his head, and said, I really don't know what you are going to do. Just kill her. What is it so troublesome to bring home? Is it just to get the intelligence in her brain? No. Yi Feng also shook his head. I took her away not only for the intelligence in her mind, but because she was my trophy. Yi Feng looked at Samui meaningfully and said, think about it, we came out just to enjoy the mountains and rivers. I never thought about fighting with them, nor about moving their transport truck. But they shot at us without asking questions, and they hurt you. How could I not get revenge? After listening to Yi Feng's explanation, Anko looked at Yi Feng with weird eyes and asked, then, how do you plan to retaliate? In this world, the number of female ninjas is not small. But generally speaking, if the female ninja is captured, the end will not be too good. After all, female ninja, especially beautiful female ninja. So, Night Wind, isn't she going to eat her meat? But then again, this Samui, it's really big there. It is estimated that a man can't stop her confusion. Talk later. Yi Feng shook his head. I am not using this illusion technique as purely pure. I can just use her to practice and improve the level of illusion. In the future, I can also increase my resistance to illusion. After Yi Feng finished speaking, he fell into a moment of contemplation. In the future, he still has to face Otsutsuki's infinite Tsukuyomi. That is Otsutsuki's ultimate trick. Although the Night Wind is now able to fight against Uchiha Itachi's ordinary Tsukuyomi. But, the ghost knew whether he would be caught by the sacred tree in the future. So, seize every opportunity to practice illusion. It is very necessary to increase the resistance to illusion. But, Anko looked at Samui's figure, then looked at Yi Feng's eyes. She always feels. The purpose of this kid is definitely not so simple. Along the way, Ye Feng opened the way with Byakugan. Whenever he finds a ninja in the distance, he takes Anko and Sammy to a different path. So, they were relatively safe along the way. That's all. Sammy and Anko, who had changed their costumes, took Yi Feng and the other arm, kissed me and smoothly returned to the border of the country of fire. After returning to the camp, Ye Feng settled down for Sammy first, then took Anko to the central tent, and told Hyuga Hiyashi of the result of this mission. Well, that's the way it is, Sammy. I will personally explore the intelligence in her spirit and use her as a tool for me to train Yamanaka's secret arts. Yi Feng said slowly. Okay, Night Wind, you destroyed the material transport team of Cloud Shinobi Village this time, and you have done a lot. I will definitely show your merits to Master Hokage. Hyuga Hiyashi smiled. Hyuga Hiyashi is very happy. The Night Wind destroyed the material transport team of Cloud Shinobi Village, which gave them a lot of time to prepare. As long as they wait for the reinforcements from Konoha Village to arrive. They are nothing but Cloud Shinobi. As for a trophy that originally belonged to the Night Breeze, Hyuga Hiyashi will not interfere. Young man, there are always many ideas. It's okay to like to train illusions with living people. Just be happy if you guys are happy. But, Shinichi Kasahara next to him couldn't help but squinted. Although he did not make any comments. But I felt very surprised in my heart. This Yamanaka Night Wind actually completed the task. Destroyed the transportation team of Cloud Shinobi Village. Does Yamanaka Ye Feng really have the strength to defeat Eight Tails Jinchuriki? How is this possible? But, if he did not repel Eight Tails Jinchuriki, how could he take the disciples of Eight Tails Jinchuriki back hostage? This is how it happened. Can't figure it out at all. Yi Feng returned to his tent. Once in the door, Samui stood up immediately. She put the slippers that Yi Feng wore in the room to the door, helped Yi Feng take off his shoes and put on comfortable and soft slippers, just like a caring and virtuous wife. You're back. Although Sammy's expression is still cold, her movements are very enthusiastic and her voice is very soft. Is there any tea? Yi Feng asked. Yes, I have already boiled the water. I'll make it now, Samui responded, turning around to make tea for Yifeng. Yifeng looked at the back of Sam Yi making tea, nodded thoughtfully. The mental control is much better than I thought. Before Yifeng used this illusion technique to control Fenghua Xiaoshui. But the process was not particularly smooth that time. No matter how the night wind pays attention, he always has some subtleties that he can't handle well. Once such a thing happens, he would be resisted by Fenghua Xiaoshui's will. But don't think Sammy is Jonan. When Yifeng controlled her, she felt much easier than Fenghua Xiaoshui. As long as Yifeng sets up the character, environment, and plot for Sam Yi, Samui will soon be able to accept the role that Yifeng arranged for her. Everything is so logical. Perhaps this is because Sam Yi's true temperament is not as cold as she shows. She has been amazed at her true temperament, but think about it and you can understand. A girl with such an appearance. There must be all kinds of boy pursuits around. If she doesn't show herself colder, there will indeed be a lot of trouble. But if the disguise takes too long, the nature will be suppressed. And now, what Yifeng was doing was just releasing her nature. The tea is ready, please drink tea. Samui carefully handed the teacup to Yifeng. Although the expression is single, but there was expectation in his eyes. It's the kind of expectation that a little woman would praise her man. Well, the tea is good, very fragrant, just like the taste on you. Yifeng smiled, stroked Sam Yi's hair, and praised insincerely. The smell on Sam Yi's body is indeed very fragrant. But the standard of her tea making is very poor. The water temperature is too hot. There is also a lot of tea. The taste is not very good. But after Sam Yi heard the compliments of the night wind, a red cloud appeared on his cheeks. Yifeng looked at her with great interest. Samui's red cloud is different from Hinata. Hinata is still too young. Still can't fully reflect the charm of that female ninja. But Samui is different. Not only did he blush, his neck was red, and his whole body seemed to be red. She is like a ripe apple waiting to be trampled on. Yifeng looked at Sammy, who had become this way. Suddenly, there was a warm current in the body. If it weren't for this time, Enko would be here. Yifeng probably couldn't help but do something to Sam Yi. But Yifeng felt that he still had to control himself. After all, he is still a child. But look at Sam Yi's current state. She also seems to be eager for something that can't be described. Could it be? Is this the enthusiasm hidden in the heart of the iceberg beauty? It really makes people want to uncover her mysterious veil. Hey, Yifeng, what the hell are you two doing? Enko looked at Yifeng with a weird look. Then he looked at Samui again. Enko always feels that the two of them are in a situation that is not quite right. But she didn't have much experience, and didn't know much about it. Oh, nothing, but just try to develop a new direction for illusion. Yifeng diverted the topic lightly, and asked casually, by the way, you have something to do with me. Well, 2 special envoys from Cloud Shinobi Village have just arrived. They may be related to this woman. Senior Hyuga asked me to come and discuss with you. Enko said. Oh, let's go then, Yifeng said. Under Samui's service, Yifeng put on his ninja boots again and pinned the ghost to his waist. Then, Yifeng glanced at Sam Yi, hugged her to the resting place, and plunged her into a dream with illusion. Well, some things, although it can't be done yet. But let her get acquainted in the dream first. It is also good to add some experience. The two returned to the central account again. The atmosphere here is obviously a little weird. Yifeng didn't know the people who came to Cloud Shinobi Village this time. But this so-called special envoy seemed very arrogant. Perhaps they are accustomed to the weakness of the purpose of 3rd generation, and have not realized that Konoha Village has changed. Huh, are you Yamanaka Yifeng? A Cloud Shinobi envoy asked, looking at Yifeng with cold eyes. Yes, I am. Yifeng walked to a chair very indifferently. Sat down. Take out an apple from the bag and start peeling it with Ghost. Yamanaka Night Wind. Quickly hand over John and Sammy from our village. Then you have to go back to Cloud Shinobi Village with us and apologize to Lord Killer Bee. The messenger Cloud Shinobi said arrogantly. He simply doesn't understand the stubbornness of my knife's ability to cut fruit. So, he is not fake at all. Hee hee, are you crazy? Yifeng cut the apple, bit it up, the juice overflowed. This is my Konoha village camp, you are yelling at me here, you are afraid it is not Shilezi. This moment, Yi Feng really feels very ridiculous. He really didn't understand where did Cloud Shinobi Village's confidence come from. How dare to talk to him like this? It seems to be. It was obviously the ninja of Cloud Shinobi Village who snatched Hinata and was killed by Hyuga Hiyashi, but Cloud Shinobi Village wanted Hyuga Hiyashi to apologize. Where is the confidence? The third Hokage gave it to you. What a failure. Ha, Hyuga Hiyashi, is this the attitude of your Konoha village? Cloud Shinobi Village's position is consistent. If you don't do what we just said, Cloud Shinobi will declare war on Konoha. Quote. Special Envoy Cloud Shinobi threatened decisively. Now, Hyuga Hiyashi's face was gloomy. He was about to reprimand the Cloud Shinobi messenger for a few words. But this time, Kasahara Shinichi stood up first. He looked at Hyuga Hiyashi and said lightly, Hiyashi, Konoha village has just stabilized, and now we can't bear the pain of war. Therefore, for the future of Konoha village and the peace of Konoha village, I suggest following the advice of Cloud Shinobi's special envoy. Quote. Kasahara's words fell. Enko stood up immediately and shouted in a deep voice. Old stuff. What did you say? Dare you say it again? Enko and Yefeng have just returned from their mission behind the Cloud Shinobi border force. I haven't had time to celebrate. This old thing actually wants to hand over the Night Wind to Cloud Shinobi Village. Is it tolerable or unbearable? Enko Jonin. It doesn't matter how many times the old man says the same thing. The old man doesn't want to see such a thing happen to an excellent ninja like Yi Feng. But, the old man's suggestion is for the safety of the village and the righteousness of the village. I still hope you can understand the old man. Hear, hear, Yi Feng sneered. His eyes swept across the faces of the Jonin standing behind Kasahara Shinichi, and said lightly. What about you? Do you also think Kasahara Shinichi's request is reasonable? Those Jonin were originally from the Kasahara Shinichi faction. Although Yi Feng's gaze made them feel chilly in their hearts. But they nodded decisively. Masara Kasahara is also for righteousness after all. At this time, Yi Feng suddenly laughed wildly. He finally knew why third Hokage was so confused. It is because of the existence of these guys that they always like to stand on the moral high ground and influence other people's thoughts. Then, Yi Feng got up. He looked at Kasahara Shinichi with sarcasm. Walked a few steps towards him. Threw the apple in his hand to the ground. Great righteousness, what a high-sounding vocabulary. Once upon a time, you can force Hyuga Hizashi to die for the so-called righteousness. Today, you guys want to send me Yamanaka to Cloud Shinobi to die for the sake of justice. Terribly sorry. About this issue, you may need to ask about the shinobi in my hand first. Ha! A jet black knife pierced through the air. Shinichi Kasahara frowned and pointed to Yamanaka, you are still too young after all. You have never experienced a war, you don't understand anything. What the old man does is the real righteousness. Quote. What Kasahara Shinichi said was really awe-inspiring. At first glance, he is very good at speaking in this style. But, when Kasahara Shinichi finished speaking the last word, around his neck, suddenly a red line split. Puff! Hot blood gushes down the neck cavity. The head slipped. The dead body fell to the ground. The big tent suddenly became silent. Look, in my 3 views, my ninja sword is righteous, and anyone who doesn't accept it can stand up and try it. Yakas said that it was an understatement, and didn't take Kasahara Shinichi's death to his heart. Anyway, his principle is, who is not convinced, then come out hard steel. The voice of the Night Wind fell. The Cloud Shinobi envoy's legs began to tremble, but he still pointed at Yi Feng firmly, and said sharply. Yamanaka Night Wind. What do you mean? Are you not afraid of war between the 2 villages? Hyuga Hiyashi, is this the attitude of your Konoha village? Quote. Hear the envoy of Cloud Shinobi's inquiry. The corner of Yi Feng's mouth suddenly grinned. There was a murderous smile. He pointed the bloody shinobi at the messenger of Cloud Shinobi village. It is the rule not to cut the battle between the 2 villages. But in the eyes of Yamanaka, my shinobi is the rule. Ha! There was another jet of black knife light. Upon seeing this, the Cloud Shinobi envoy quickly touched the sides of his neck with his hands. It was found that there were no stab wounds. Then, He smiled knowingly. This kid still dare not kill me in the end. After all, I am the special envoy of Cloud Shinobi Village. Then, a strange bloodline appeared from the center of Cloud Shinobi's forehead. After the bloodline appeared, it passed the nose, mouth, and Adam's apple of Cloud Shinobi's envoy. Down the collar again. Extend all the way. Click. The weird smiley face has not been put away, and the smile is divided into two along the middle. The scene is very strange. Boom. 2 dead bodies fell to the ground. No one in the big tent dared to make any more noises. After a long while, Hyuga Hiyashi sighed badly. Once upon a time, in order to save his daughter, Hyuga Hiyashi personally killed the villains in Cloud Shinobi Village. But it is for the so-called righteousness. Those who stand on the moral high ground force his cousin Hyuga Hizashi to die for him. Today, Risky Knight will suffer this bad luck again. Fortunately, this boy is not like us. He knows how to fight. Know how to resist. He let the people of Cloud Shinobi Village see what Konoha's bloody is. Yefeng, you did the right thing. In this matter, Hyuga Hiyashi will support you behind. Hyuga Hiyashi's eyes burned. The patriarch is right. Our Hyuga clan will support you behind. The Hyuga clan elite said in unison. Now, the big account civil war is proud. The ninjas of the Hyuga Hiyashi faction uttered this ups and downs of male blood. It's been long enough for everyone to forbear. Everyone is a ninja. Not Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Why do you want Cloud Shinobi Village everywhere? Obviously Konoha Village is the largest village in the ninja world. Why should I let you guys? Now, Yifeng was also brazen in his heart. He swiped the black knife in his hand, pointed it in the direction of Thunder Country, looked at another Cloud Shinobi envoy with an unkind look, and said coldly. I didn't kill you so that you could go back and tell your fourth Raikage. Cloud Shinobi is going to fight. Konoha will fight. If Cloud Shinobi doesn't fight, let your people get out of here. Special Envoy Cloud Shinobi glanced at the 2 corpses on the ground. Swallowed. Not saying, has the ninja no darkness in Konoha Village already greeted him? How did the scene become like this? Konoha, this is going to change. When the night wind returned to his tent, he was still stained with bloodline sprayed by Kasahara Shinichi. His behavior just now seemed very impulsive. But this made Yifeng feel very refreshed in his heart. For this kind of guy who likes to stand on the moral high ground and wield a moral stick, there is nothing more bloody than slashing him. The night breeze lit the candle in the camp. The faint light reflected on a pretty face of Sam Yi. Samui is also awake. All of her clothes were wet with sweat. The originally thin clothes clung to her body tightly, giving a clear overview of her arrogant figure. At this time, she was still lying there, panting heavily, looking at the night breeze with blushing cheeks. In the eyes, mixed with a very special kind of yuwang. Obviously, those illusory scenes in dreams doesn't make her satisfied. She couldn't wait for Yifeng to take action. Hey, Yifeng sighed. She saw the subtle and special manifestations of Sam Yi's body. There is also a warm current rising in the body. Then, 2 figures with blood spurting finally hugged together. One after another. This night, very long. Maybe it's because I've been depressed for too long. This moment, they all broke out finally. 2 days later, the reinforcements of Konoha Village finally arrived. But Cloud Shinobi Village did not choose to withdraw its troops. A small-scale war broke out between the 2 villages at the junction of the Fire Country and the Yuno Country. In this war, the Shadow Clone of Nightwind greatly increased the combat power of Konoha Village and completely crushed the Cloud Shinobi border troops. Finally, Cloud Shinobi Village is under pressure from the name of Thunder Country. The troops were finally withdrawn. After all, Konoha is no longer the same Konoha. Not only do they have an extra Hokage, they also have an extra madman with the name of Killing Gods. Of course, as a condition of withdrawal, Yifeng returned Sam Yi to Cloud Shinobi Village. When parting, Samui had already escaped from the night breeze's illusion. She walked towards Cloud Shinobi's camp in silence, and suddenly stopped in the middle, turning her head to look at the night breeze with cold eyes. That glance, very complicated, although all those things that happened in the past few days happened under the night wind's illusion. But what happened is what happened. This memory is for Sam Yi. It's true, she clearly remembered the scenes. Every feeling, every impulse, every prescription. For Sam Yi, this should be a very unacceptable thing. But she left indifferently. Yi Feng didn't know her true thoughts either. The iceberg woman recovered the temperature of the iceberg. This is really a pity. After the border stabilized, Yi Feng took Anko back to Konoha village. Konoha village is still as stable and peaceful as before they left. This kind of peace. It was the men on the border who exchanged their blood. Ye Feng, your contribution this time is huge, and the bounty will probably not be less. You must treat me to a big meal when you go back. Anko said with a smile. Well, as long as you are not afraid of becoming the big fat guy of Akamaiki's family, I can treat you to a big meal anytime. Yi Feng shrugged. He has never been able to accept the setting of Anko in the bloggers' biographies that turned into Tufeyuan. So, he will stimulate Anko from time to time. Remind her not to become a fat man. Hokage office. After Tsunade listened to Anko's mission report, a satisfied smile appeared on his face. Although the night wind killed one Kasahara Shinichi. But it was just that he wanted to die by himself. No wonder others. On the contrary, Tsunade thinks that Ye Feng kills well. Nice job, Ye Feng. Hiyashi has sent someone to send back the battle report from the front. You contributed a lot to defeating Cloud Shinobi this time. What kind of reward do you want? Quote. Tsunade looked at the night wind with a smile. This kid. Sure enough, she did not disappoint. Award, then reward me for not having to do a task for half a year. Yi Feng blurted out without even thinking about it. Isn't it good to lie in the village and make salted fish every day? Why do you have to work hard? We are not bad for money. HMPH, that won't work. Do you know how popular you are now? The mission must be done. Tsunade glanced at Yi Feng. Want to make salted fish? No doors. You are the cash cow of the village. Then, or else, you take Ino and Hinata and let them be your disciples. Yi Feng thought for a while, and then made a suggestion. To be honest, the road of night wind is not suitable for Ino and Hinata. So, it is necessary to find a reliable master for them. Tsunade's expression was slightly startled. She didn't expect Yi Feng to suddenly make such a request. Okay, the two of them are already excellent, and they are more than enough to become my disciples. Tsunade agreed without thinking. After all, Tsunade even accepts girls like Sakura, but will he refuse Yamanaka Ino and Hyuga Hinata? To know, behind these two people are the Yamanaka and Hyuga clan of Konoha village. Tsunade accepted them as disciples. That is tantamount to tying these two races firmly together with Hokage. This is definitely a win-win choice. Well, since you agree, then there is nothing else. Let's go first, Yi Feng asked. Okay, let's go back and have a rest. In the afternoon, I will inform the senior management of the village and Jonin, who is currently in the village, to hold a celebration party for you. Tsunade said. This battle, Konoha village can crush Cloud Shinobi at the border. Hyuga Hiyashi made a special explanation. Ye Feng, two people have contributed a lot. If they hadn't destroyed the supply convoy of Cloud Shinobi village, they would not have been able to wait for the Konoha village reinforcements to arrive. If it weren't for Ye Feng, use multiple shadow clones to kill the enemy on the battlefield. Konoha village is bound to lose a large number of ninjas. So, celebration party is a must. After Yi Feng and Anko left the Hokage building, the two went straight to the restaurant. Feast on it. Of course, Ye Feng is only interested in wine. The meal was eaten until 2:30 in the afternoon. The celebration party finally began. Tsunade first gave a thank you speech. Then, Anko and Ye Feng also took the stage and spoke politely. Of course, although the two of them contributed a lot, they were very low-key when speaking. First of all, thank the village, the leaders, and the brothers and sisters who have fought together. And thank you all for coming to celebrate for us. Barabara. This is probably the content. Then, next. The atmosphere of the whole celebration party was very good. Full of positive energy. It wasn't until the three old guys came over that the atmosphere began to become awkward again. Yamanaka Night Wind, you are so bold. Never mind that Shimura Danzo is no longer an elder. But in the team of these three old guys, the other two are still headed by Danzo. My courage has always been great. Do you want to give it a try? Yi Feng glanced at the three of them disdainfully, not at all polite. Yi Feng saw Danzo's expression. I knew he must have come here to do things. So, Yi Feng will never leave them any face. Yamanaka Night Wind. Don't think Hyuga Hiyashi praised you in the battle report, you can be arrogant. You killed Shinichi Kasahara, the deputy commander of the border forces. The crimes you committed this time are too numerous to bear. Quote. Mitokado Homura pointed at Yi Feng's nose arrogantly and cursed. He has been waiting for this day for a long time. He finally waited for the real hammer that could destroy the Night Wind. Kill Kasahara Shinichi in public. Ha ha, he is the deputy commander of the border force, okay. Do you kill it if you say it? Are there any rules? However, Yi Feng didn't care about him at all, it was Yi Feng's black knife who took care of him. Ha, the jet black knife slashed across the sky. A flash of blood suddenly appeared. The finger Mitokado Homura used to point at Yi Feng was directly cut off by Yi Feng and fell into the garbage dump. Old thing, I warned you last time, how dare you point your finger at me? I almost thought my big knife was not sharp enough. Yi Feng said lightly. To be honest, Yi Feng now doesn't pay attention to the three of them at all. After having the pubic seal, the chakra of the night breeze can continue to accumulate in the dantian. The quality and quantity are not comparable to 100 healings mark. To be honest, just give the night wind enough time. He can gather in the pubic area, which is comparable to Jinchuriki's chakra. Of course, this kind of uncontrolled practice definitely requires a lot of supplements. Fortunately, Yi Feng's family is not short of money. So, in the eyes of Yi Feng, these three old guys are almost like ants. If it weren't for the village's sake, he might have killed Mitokado Homura directly. You. Yamanaka Night Wind. You detained Kaharu quickly pulled Mitokado Homura's severed finger from the trash. There was also some unspeakable mucus on it. I don't know what the hell is it. Then, you detained Kaharu helped Mitokado Homura apply powder on the severed finger. Then, she wanted to point to Yi Feng's nose to curse. But he was afraid that he would get the same fate as Mitokado Homura. Then, she had no choice but to put the finger that was nowhere in her pocket. Me, what's wrong with me? Let me remind you that if there is another time, it will not be as simple as one finger. If you don't believe it, you can try. Yi Feng fought Shinobu on his shoulder, looking at them coldly. This moment, the ninjas in the room looked at each other. Even Yamanaka Haichi didn't think of it. Is his son so young? But, really relieved, Tsunade, it is true that Yamanaka killed the commander at the border. He is now in the village against the elders again. Such a scum, don't you know how to take care of it? Shimura Danzo angrily jabbed the walking stick in his hand towards the ground. This moment, he is really angry. Kasahara Shinichi is Danzo's old man. He helped Danzo do a lot of great things. Until recent years. In order to give Kasahara Shinichi a break, Shimura Danzo used the relationship to let him go to the border to become a commander. Whoever thought, he was actually killed by Yi Feng. And now, he dared to deal with the elders of Konoha village. The next step, did he dare to attack the old man? She can bear, uncle can't bear it. Hee, Shimura Danzo, it's a shame. If third Hokage is still alive, he might still say something to you. For example, he might say, Mitokado Homura is your predecessor. He has been working hard for Konoha village all his life. Even if you are a little wronged, you can't be so irritable. Everything must be based on the overall situation, know how to forbear, know how to be modest. Quote. But it's a pity, today's Hokage is 5th generation. She won't let what happened to Hyuga Hazashi happen to me again. I have this confidence in her. I also have confidence in my knife. After Yi Feng said these few sentences, he held the ninja sword in his arms again, looking coldly at Shimura Danzo. Indeed, what he did today is very excessive. But, his excessiveness makes the Konoha shinobi who have been suppressed for a long time feel very happy. When the 3rd generation project was in place, he allowed Cloud Shinobi Village to force Hyuga Hazashi to death on an unreasonable charge. This incident is one of the big shame of Konoha Village. In fact, except for Hyuga Hazashi, these years, similar things have happened many, many times. Although many people are not so willing. But they endured it in the end. Because he has been nurtured by the concept of third generation since he was very young. For the sake of justice. For the village. For the will of fire. For these illusory things, it seems that everyone can sacrifice everything. In fact, in the eyes of Yefeng, this concept itself cannot be said to be completely wrong. But, if you want to implement this concept, you need a very good leader to guide you. If not, what is righteousness in the end? What is the will of fire? Most of the time, everyone has long been lost. But, although everyone's life is very depressing, but no one stood up to resist. Until this moment, Yamanaka Yefeng finally stood up. This also means that the new era of Konoha village has finally arrived. Danzo, Hiyashi has already reported to me about Kasahara Shinichi, and Kasahara really did a little too much. And Hiyashi also found evidence about Kasahara Shinichi's dealings with Cloud Shinobi village at the Konoha border over the years. Quote, Tsunade's eyes burned. Danzo and the others like to play power, and they like to be Konoha village's shit sticks. These Tsunade can be tolerated. After all, they have also contributed to the village. But, how dare they collude with other villages for profit now? This is something Tsunade can never forgive. So, Yifeng kills well. After Tsunade made his statement, the atmosphere of the celebration party was also extremely cold. HMPH, you only said that you found the evidence after the person died. The old man really feels worthless for Kasahara Shinichi's life. Shimura Danzo snorted coldly. Shimura Danzo certainly knows that Shinichi Kasahara and Cloud Shinobi village have beneficial contacts at the border. Because he is the apex of that chain of interests. However, Shin Kasahara is always very careful in doing things. Danzo doesn't believe that Tsunade will have conclusive evidence. Oh, not worth, just rely on you stuff. Does it deserve to be said that these two words are not worth it? At this time, Yifeng gave a sneer, and froze with Danzo. The old man is not worthy. Then who is worthy? Danzo also sneered again and again. The old man dedicated himself to Konoha's prosperity and devoted countless efforts. If Hokage is Konoha in the sun, the old man is the root in the shadow. Is this something that a yellow-mouthed child can understand? Good. Since you asked so, then we simply opened up and talked about it. Yifeng sneered, looked at Danzo and said, Senior White Fang once tried to save Kasahara Shinichi's life. He gave up his mission at all costs, which caused him to be infamy. But that's actually nothing. Who knows that Shinichi Kasahara not only doesn't know how to be grateful, but also pushes the flames behind him, insulting Senior White Fang along with the public opinion. In the end, Senior White Fang died in grief and anger. So, in my opinion, Senior White Fang is worthy of a ninja like this. Yifeng finished the words word by word. At the same time, he glanced at Hitaki Kakashi, who was silent. Danzo killed Konoha's White Fang by creating public opinion. Although this matter has not been reversed. But everyone knows the routine. Especially now that Kakashi has grown into an old fox. How could he not know who is behind the scenes? Hitaki Shigeru's mission was in vain, and even the people he rescued didn't approve of his actions. In the eyes of the old man, there is nothing to say at all. Shimura Danzo said coldly. In your opinion, don't look to you, the old man, look to the old man. Shimura Danzo finished. Hitaki Kakashi's fists were already tightly clenched. But, he did not stand up. Yifeng did not continue the topic of Konoha's White Fang. Let's talk about Uchiha Shisui. Uchiha Shisui is a ninja at the root. He has worked hard all his life, fighting hard for Konoha and Uchiha. But, his eyes ended up in the hands of your immediate boss. Excuse me, this is why. Yifeng looked at Danzo sarcastically. If you want to talk about Danzo's black pot, I'm afraid no one in the room is better than Yifeng. It's nonsense. Danzo snorted directly, wanting to deny it. Uchiha Shisui's eyes are indeed in his hands. But, only 4 people know this secret. That is, Shimura Danzo, Sarutobi Hiruzen, Uchiha Shisui, Uchiha Itachi. Sarutobi Hiruzen and Uchiha Shisui are dead. Is it Uchiha Itachi? Are you talking nonsense? Then, dare you untie the bandage on your right eye for everyone to see? Yifeng's face was full of ridicule. If Shisui's eyes are hidden by Danzo, Yifeng really didn't have a good way to prove the truth of this matter. But, Shimura Danzo Tenten took Sharingan from Shisui with him and swaggered through the market. How does he deny this? Danzo, what the hell is going on? Untie your bandage and let me see. Tsunade frowned. Although Uchiha has been annihilated. But, the Uchiha clan is still very sensitive. If the top of Konoha village even grabs their own eyes, how will this make the Hyuga clan think about it? Ha, that's right, Uchiha Shisui's eyes are in the hands of the old man. Danzo snorted first. Subsequently, he sighed meaningfully again. Hey, I want to start. Uchiha Shisui discovered that the evil Uchiha Itachi wanted to destroy the race, but he was attacked by Uchiha Itachi. After Shisui desperately escaped, he found the old man and gave the remaining eye to the old man. Quote, originally, the old man intends to use this eye to stop Uchiha Itachi. But, the old man is still one step too late. What a pity, what a sigh. Shimura Danzo launched a superb acting. The feelings shown are quite sincere. I can't tell at all that it's acting. Yi Feng wanted to give him a manual thumbs up. It's pretty, then I'll ask you again, who gave you that bunch of Sharingan on your arm? Could it be that they found you before they died and entrusted them to you? Yi Feng looked at Danzo coldly. Now that there are melons. So, Yi Feng is ready to take a look at Danzo's foundation. Not afraid of big things. Arms, Danzo, what's going on? Explain, Tsunade asked with a drink. Today's melon is really exciting. One wave has not settled and one wave has risen again. Well, hey, face the accusation of Yi Feng. Shimura Danzo didn't panic at all. He had feelings brewing, and sighed again. On that day, after Uchiha Itachi destroyed the race, the old man led the root ninja to rescue, but at that time Uchiha Itachi had already done something incomprehensible. But, while Uchiha Fugaku was dying, he asked me to transplant these Sharingan onto my body, in order to prevent Uchiha's Sharingan from completely severing. Speaking of which, the old man is really ashamed. Patriarch Fugaku trusts the old man so much, but the old man is not as good as he thought. Bang bang bang. Yi Feng couldn't help but clapped his hands. Wonderful. It's amazing. It's as wonderful as a wonderful frog seed eating a wonderful crispy corner and living in a wonderful house. Then I will ask you again. On the day Nine Tails invaded Konoha, the third generation fourth generation was struggling against Nine Tails. You, the leader of Genin in the shadow of Konoha village, what did you do at that time? Yi Feng asked. Yellow-mouthed kid, what do you know? Nine Tails wreaked havoc in the village that night. But the old man saw the problem at a glance. There must be a more insidious guy behind Nine Tails. So in order to prevent the village from being attacked by other shinobu villages, the old man hung in the dark to watch out. Of course you can't understand this kind of strategic awareness. GT. Yi Feng looked at Shimura Danzo with a dazed expression. The surprise was beyond words. It's not a shame to be the king of Konoha pot. This scapegoat is well-founded. Then, what's the day of the Chunin exam? Orochimaru and Sand Shinobi's strategy is to surprise and behead. With the strength of the village at that time, even if there are other shinobu villages taking advantage of the attack, we also have the corresponding ability. Why don't you take the shot? Yi Feng continued to ask. Hey, it's all tears. In those few days, the old man had hemorrhoids, and he was recovering from his injuries at home. He was really powerless. Shimura Danzo sighed and missed the old man. I knew it. How good is it to keep him alive? At least there is no need to answer so many terrible questions. That's all. A wave of gunfire came down. Yi Feng really fell in love with the five bodies Danzo admired. Have to say, in terms of not being fat, Shimura Danzo must be the strongest in the ninja world. Well, everyone, Elder Mito's injury is important. The old man will take him down to heal first, so please reflect on yourself here. See you. Shimura Danzo flicked his sleeve, turned and left. There was a house of depressed ninjas left behind. Reflect on their own. We are thinking about a ball of yarn. The turmoil of the celebration party soon passed. In general, this incident did not have much impact on Konoha village. After all, at this time now, Tsunade was unwilling to completely tear his face with the three old guys. There are too many things involved. She still needs time. But since that day, the three old guys are even more stubborn, and they don't know what big move they are holding back. In the next month, Tsunade didn't arrange another task for Yi Feng. It really allowed him to cultivate in the village for a month. But, this day, Tsunade finally called the night wind again in Hokage's office. Old woman, what do you want me to do? Yi Feng sat down on the opposite side of Tsunade. Appreciated the beautiful scenery, although not as majestic as Samui. But, since the shape is different, the user experience should also be different. It's a mission, Xiao Shanyu. Tsunade glanced at Yi Feng silently. Call her old woman at every turn. Although this is true. But, does my old mother's appearance show that she is still a big sister? Don't you like Oni-san? But it's a pity. If Yi Feng scored Tsunade, he could only score 87 points. Another task. Is it far? Yi Feng asked. Far, in a small country that you may not have heard of. Tsunade replied. Oh, if this is the case, can't you arrange it for other ninjas? Wouldn't it be enough to let me do some tasks nearby? Ye Feng said in an angry tone. People, that's it. When he had a task in the past 3 or 5 days, he slowly didn't feel any resistance. But now, once it's free, suddenly to be assigned a task. Yi Feng felt very annoying. No, this mission is a bit special. The big name of that small country will ask you to go and protect her. By the way, this big name is still a girl. Tsunade looked at the night breeze thoughtfully. What's so good about this kid? Even the daimyo appointed him to protect. Oh, do you think these big names are brain dead? There are so many ninja villages and so many ninjas in the ninja world, why are they looking for me? Am I just a little more handsome? But is this my fault? Yi the Wind sighed. Really, being too good is also an annoyance. Most people certainly don't understand. It is said, because she had a dream. Tsunade said with his chin supported. Dream? What dream? Yi Feng frowned. The content of the dream is probably that only you can protect her, and only you can let her tide over this crisis. So people paid 3 times the reward for the S-level mission this time, and let you pass by name. Quote. Tsunade looked at Yi Feng thoughtfully and said. This kid. It's really handsome. But, he hasn't met the girl name, right? Why does it sound a bit like a lover in a dream? I really don't understand these little kids. Which small country is it? After listening to Tsunade's description, Yi Feng frowned and asked, suddenly feeling a bad feeling in his heart. The country of ghosts, Tsunade replied. Yi Feng took a breath. Ghost country. Yi Feng looked at Tsunade with different eyes, and confirmed again. Yes, the country of ghosts. Tsunade nodded and comforted. Although the name sounds a bit scary, there are no ghosts there. It's just a normal shinobi. Don't worry too much. Ha ha. Yi Feng shook his head. Yes, there are no ghosts in the country of ghosts. But, there is a monster named Sprite and a witch named Xian. And, Xian is the female name of the country of ghosts. In the memory of the night breeze, Xian is a pretty girl. But, she has a very bad habit. Xian often has some messy and weird dreams. Either this one is dead or the other one is dead. And the most terrible thing is, every time she dreams, she is very accurate. It is almost the rhythm of dreaming that whoever dies will have to die. It's almost a fight with Yama King. So, is Yi Feng dreamed of by her now? Was called in the past. Is this a way of death already designed? This is a bit scary. Yi Feng, a ghost place like the country of ghosts, what am I going to do in the end? Tsunade, of course you have to do a task when you go. Yi Feng, will it work if you don't do the task? Tsunade, don't do the task, you come to raise the village. Yi Feng, I can raise it if I raise it. Tsunade, you better raise yourself first. The conversation between the two ends here. Yi Feng couldn't help sighing. That said, there is no discussion. Yi Feng shrugged, a little speechless. No discussion. I have accepted the task anyway, and if I go back now, I have to pay the other party 10 times the reward. We can't do such a thing. Tsunade said categorically. 10 times the reward. That is the reward for 30s level tasks. Just kidding. Yi Feng. For money, you actually forced me to go to such a place to perform tasks. When you were in the gambling world, you weren't a woman who values money so much. Tsunade. I didn't have a choice before, but I am different now. I want to be a good Hokage, that's it. The two of them looked at each other and looked at each other, speechless for a long time. Finally, Yi Feng sighed again. Since the task is assigned to me, you have to ask me anyway, and then decide whether to accept the task. What if I get hemorrhoids like Danzo? Don't you want to lose 10 times your reward? Quote. Yi Feng said silently, don't talk nonsense. Get ready quickly, and you can set off when you are ready. Tsunade glared at Yi Feng, and then added, in addition, in view of the large amount of this mission, I have also arranged a teammate for you just in case. Tsunade's voice fell off. An Anbu female ninja walked in from outside the office. It's you, Yi Feng said. Anbu, ninja sword, female ninja, long purple hair. Yi Feng recognized her as Mao Yuxian at a glance. After Mao Yuxian entered the door. Take off the mask that seals her face. Master Hokage, are you looking for something to do with me? Tsunade nodded. Let's give a brief account of the affairs of this mission. This time the task is of great importance. So, pair in pairs. Yi Feng is the captain. Understood, Captain Yefeng, then I will wait for you at the entrance of the village. After Uzu Xian listened to the task description. Say nothing. Accepted the task without hesitation. That, don't you need to prepare? Yi Feng asked. No, as an Anbu ninja, I am always on standby for departure. I can leave now, Azuki Yuyan said lightly. This is Anbu in Konoha village. The strength may not be the most top-notch in the ninja world. But, their professionalism is nothing to say. 2 hours later. Yi Feng bids farewell to Hinata and Ino. They finally embarked on the journey of the Ghost Country mission. The country of ghosts. Late at night, a long-haired uncle named Huang Quan, with 4 small white clothes fresh meat, broke into the underground palace guarded by only 4 or 5 warriors. This place is where the witches of the country of ghosts seal the spirits of sprites. Judging from the number of guards, the security measures in the country of ghosts are just a joke. A group of people walked into the underground palace. The palace was lifeless. A large number of puppets resembling terracotta warriors and horses are displayed around the palace. In the center of the palace, there stood a weird stone monument shining with purple light. Then, the middle-aged scruffy man named Huang Quan walked to the steel that sealed the sprites. He put his hands together. Very religiously, he chanted a weird mantra. Probably the meaning may be 1 5 is 5, 2 5 and 10, 3 5 and 1 15. Come out, Master Sprite. Then, I saw the stone tablet shattered. A large amount of black air poured out from the steel. And then, the last monster in the ninja world, Sprite, has really come out. Huang Quan, you finally found me. But now I only have a soul and no body, so I can't exist in this world. Sprite said gloomily. Don't worry, Master Sprite, I have developed a dark medical ninjutsu, which can temporarily place your soul in my body. Immediately afterwards, the man named Huang Quan took out a scalpel and stabbed him randomly. A technique called dark medical ninjutsu was exhibited. Finally, Sprite's soul was resurrected through Huang Quan's body. The movie version of Naruto's death has begun. But Naruto didn't come. Azuki Yuyan, when you Anbu are on missions, are you silent like you? Don't you feel bored? Yi Feng and Mao Yuxian drove for 2 consecutive days. Finally arrived in the territory of the Ghost Country. But, along the way, Yu Yuxian basically didn't speak, which made Yi Feng feel very boring. Speaking will consume unnecessary strength and affect our speed, so it is not necessary. Mao Yuxian looked into the distance with a flat tone. In fact, Yefeng can also understand. Azuki Yuyan was not originally such a character. But since Moonlight Gale died, Azuki Yuyan's personality changed. After all, ninjas are also humans. It will also be affected by the 7 emotions and 6 desires. After a few brief conversations, the two continued to move toward the daimyo mansion in the country of ghosts. Along the way, they passed several camps. Dead bodies are everywhere in the camp. From the clothing point of view, it should be a samurai from the country of ghosts. Could it be that war broke out in the land of ghosts? Mao Yuxian frowned. If there really is a war, it shouldn't be possible to protect the daimyo of the country of ghosts just because the 2 of them are here, right? Let's go first. No matter what, I will meet with the employer first. Yi Feng said. It looks like Sprite's soul should have been resurrected. These warriors should have been killed by the Sprite puppet army. But it's okay, although the puppet army is difficult to deal with. But they travel very slowly, And the target of the puppet is the underground altar of the swamp country. Because the sprite's body is sealed there. About the sprite army. The kingdom of ghosts and the country of Numa will also turn to the 5 great nations for help. So, Yefeng's first task now is to protect the Miko Xian. The country of ghosts, Daming Mansion. The Daimyo-fu was surrounded by samurai, and the defense was solid. But, Huang Quan's 4 small fresh meats all receive the blessing of sprites. They have very powerful dark energy in their bodies. And they also brought a group of puppets together. Although the samurai are not afraid of life and death. But the defense line of the Daming Mansion will soon be penetrated by the 4 of them. Miko-sama, please escape quickly, our samurai may not be able to support it for too long. Miko-sama, just follow us. We escaped from the back mountain, we will not be found. Miko-sama, come with us. Xian's subordinates persuaded with all their heart. They want Xian to escape as soon as possible. But Xian looked forward with a firm gaze. Not moved at all. I do not go. That ninja from Konoha village will definitely come to save me. He must be on his way to riding a horse now. I dreamt about it. My dreams never go wrong. Xian's eyes were firm. Just sit on his throne and wait for the night wind to come. She firmly believes. The night wind will definitely come in time. But Master Xian's subordinates wanted to say. I also know the old terrier who arrived on horseback. Generally speaking, people who arrive on horseback will never arrive at the end. But Xian didn't give him a chance to show off his profound knowledge. She waved her hand and said firmly, nothing is wrong. This time it is very tricky. I have to follow the guidelines in the dream. Sprites are a kind of monster. Sprites existed long before the ninja appeared. But the witch of the ghost country is the nemesis of sprites. They are born with the ability to seal sprites. But Xian is the only maiden left in the ghost country today. If something happens to her again, I am afraid that no one will be able to seal sprites in this world. So, Xian's guards must not watch Xian being killed by sprites. Master Xian, that can only be offended. A samurai forcibly carried Xian on his back. Is preparing to take the road and flee. But at this moment, the 4 white-clothed little fresh meat finally reached the core of the Daming Mansion, the country of ghosts. Hee, are you the witch mentioned by Master Sprite? I finally found you. Haha, after killing her, Master Sprite is truly an immortal existence. Waiting for Master Sprite to create a brand new world, we are all heroes. The 2 of them made a nod with both hands while talking. One of them uses wind style and the other uses fire style. Created a very terrifying flame. Pounced towards Xian. As long as the witch dies, Master Sprite is invincible. They can create an immortal kingdom. Just thought of this. The 4 little white-clothed meats showed a grim smile. But this time, a seemingly ordinary kuwu suddenly inserted in front of Xian. Immediately afterwards, Yamanaka Night Wind appeared in Xiao Shanru's line of sight. Water-style water barrier. Chakra in the night breeze is very strong. The effect of water barrier is similar to that of Hai Dun. Little fresh meats wind and fire combos are as soft as a lamb in front of the water barrier. That's it. Didn't it mean that you have the power that sprites give you? Can you be more serious? Yi Feng frowned. I thought it was 4 kings, but it turned out to be 4 bronzes. Then, Yi Feng glanced back at Xian. Xian is a little sister who looks very much like Hinata. The hairstyle is a bit like. The face is a bit like. Even the figure looks a bit like. The moment Yefeng saw Xian, he really felt that gods might have a certain evil taste. It's you, your Yamanaka Yefeng. You really came. Xian looked at Yefeng, with an excited smile on her face. According to the guidance of the dream, he is the man who can let her break her fate. Now, he is finally here. Well, he is Captain Yefeng, although we were delayed for a while because of the terracotta warriors and horses. But fortunately, leave your safety to us next. Mao Yu Xian stepped forward and explained. Azuki Yuyan habitually put on Anbu's mask. Then, she stared coldly at the 4 small meats in front of her. Full of hostility. What a big tone, isn't it the ninja of Konoha village? Today let you see the true power that Master Sprite bestows on us. Xiao Shanru's voice fell. 4 strange snakes exuding darkness came out from behind their necks. The four skillfully grabbed Lion Majesty, pulled out the snake's head, and poured a fishy liquid into their mouths. Boom! Xiao Shanru instantly put on a brand new skin. The feeling of bursting power appeared. They feel like two pillars that they can do it again. Ha ha ha, this is the real power that Master Sprite bestows on us. You mortals tremble under the power of Master Sprite. Seeing the four people on the opposite side so arrogant, Azuki Yuyan waved the shinobi in his hand. Aussie Moon Knight. Azuki Yuyan waved a shinobi sword, pulling out a knife-shaped afterimage in the air, condensed into a circular knife array like the moon. Drink. Mao Yuxian let out a soft drink. She rushed directly to the enemy camp with the afterimage of the knife formation. This is her famed stunt. Group attack ability is extremely strong. Small bugs, dare to make times. The four-skinned ninjas were not afraid. They also rushed towards Mao Yuxian. I saw it. Countless afterimages surrounded Mao Yuxian. It makes it impossible to distinguish between false and true. But Xiao Shanru's tactics are very tough. They didn't care about Mao Yuxian's slash. Just let Azuki Xian's shinobi knife slash at them. Dark power erupted in the body, besieged towards Yu Xian. This, Azuki Yuga is an experienced Anbu ninja. After she felt the strangeness of the opponent's tactics, she directly used a body replacement technique, and her body returned to Yifeng. Captain Yifeng, their strength is weird, they can recover from their injuries in an instant. Yifeng looked at Yu Xian meaningfully and nodded, and said, well, to deal with such a player with strong endurance, you must remember to start directly in the future. Yifeng's voice fell. Raise his right hand. A strong fire-style chakra surged out of the palm. Take a volley. Boom. Directly patted the head of a little fresh meat. Dead and transparent. This trick is the 8 trigrams air palm modified by night wind. The power is not bad. Did you see it? Yifeng turned his head and said to Yu Xian. Then, not waiting for the remaining 3 to react, Yifeng disappeared again with a scream. He came to the back of a little fresh meat again, and pointed his index finger to his head. Wind-style finger pistol. Boom. An enemy was destroyed instantly. At this time, Yifeng retreated happily. I thought you might be a strong faction, but I didn't expect that you were really just an idle faction. With the flow of sprites, so are you also, Yifeng said with disdain. Then, Yifeng was lazy even with ninjutsu. 2 shurikens easily sent them on the road. This, Mao Yuxian was shocked in her heart. Is this the strength of Yamanaka Night Wind? No loss as someone who can make Hokage-sama's favorite. Anko, such a man, can you really control it? Facing Azuki Xian's adoring gaze, Yifeng shook his head low-key. Don't look at me like that. Actually, if you started to start, they would have died. I really don't know why you don't like to start. Yifeng was actually quite speechless. Take Naruto, for example. His Rasengan is clearly hitting that high. But why never start? Wouldn't it be incense to blow the opponent's head directly? Why do you want to deliberately keep the opponent and show the operation? It took more than an hour for the little fresh meats to shock the samurai. However, the night breeze only took less than a minute. It completely refreshed the samurai's understanding of the word shock. Is this the night breeze too strong? Or are they too weak? Actually, if it weren't for the terracotta warriors and horses on the periphery, the main force of the samurai was entangled. It is not so easy for the 4 small fresh meats to attack. But, if you insist on comparing them with Yifeng, then they really didn't see enough. After all, there is still a difference between the power group and the idle group. Not to mention, Yifeng is both a powerful faction and an idle faction. Sure enough, my dream is not wrong. You must have the ability to kill sprites, Xian said excitedly looking at Yifeng. See the scene that just happened before me. Xian is very happy. Prince Charming, who rescued her from the abyss of fate, is finally here. In the theater version, Xian's character is slightly perverse. But, that is not her nature. Because Xian has magical powers. So, she has taken on a heavy burden that she shouldn't have at this age. Just like her current figure. He is obviously younger than Hinata. But the body is actually better than Hinata. She shouldn't bear such a heavy book. What exactly are the sprites you are talking about? Are those puppets outside and the 4 people just now under sprites? Mao Yuxian frowned. Obviously, she didn't know much about the ghost country. A sprite is a kind of monster, and we don't know exactly how it was produced. However, it is recorded in some ancient books that sprites have existed for at least 1,000 years. Xian explained. Then, what is happening now? Why didn't you mention sprites in this mission? Mao Yu Xian's brows were still frowned. Although Anbu Ninja generally does not participate in the commission tasks of the village. But, she still understands some basic rules. Intentionally concealing mission information is a very bad behavior. Even if the other party is the name of the ghost country. Can't hide the details of the mission. No, things are not what you think. Xian shook his head, explained the ins and outs of the matter again. When she first posted the task. Just because she dreamed that Yefeng had the power to kill sprites. So, Xian was only preparing to let Yefeng come to the land of ghosts to execute the sealed sprites. Just kill the sprites, she will no longer have to bear the pressure of the Miko. But, it never occurred to her that it was sprites that broke the seal at this time. With regard to sprites, we have already sent out a request for help from the 5 great nations. All you have to do is protect me. Xian looked at Yifeng, with a sly look in his eyes. However, sprites will definitely come against me, so you must kill the sprites in order to protect me. After listening to Xian's explanation, Yifeng couldn't help but shook his head. GT, the little girl is young. There are a lot of ghost ideas. But it's okay, as long as she didn't dream that the night wind had died. But, dreaming will come true. This plugin is also very looking forward to. It's okay to protect you, and it's okay to kill sprites, but you just said that only Yefeng has the power to kill sprites. What does this mean? Yu Xian continued to ask. A sprite is an immortal existence, and our witch only has the power to seal her, but there is no way to kill him. Xian said. Speaking of which, Xian glanced at Yifeng again. Confirmed the look in the eyes. This is the man. However, in my dream, I dreamed that he had the ability to kill sprites, so I found him. Xian said. You keep saying that I can kill sprites. But why don't I know how to kill sprites? What did you dream of? Yifeng touched his chin, showing a thoughtful look. Ordinary power cannot kill sprites. This night wind is very clear. As for the sprite in the theater version, Naruto was stabbed to death by a witchcraft ball. That is simply a plot kill. So, Yefeng is not good at mouth escape. How can a plot kill be triggered? You must have such power. But I don't know exactly what power it is. In the dream, I only saw the sprites die in front of you, but I don't know how you did it. Quote. Xian shook his head. Are you sure that the person you saw was me? Not a boy with yellow hair. Yifeng touched his chin, looked at Xian meaningfully, and confirmed the details again. After all, Naruto is the protagonist in the drama. That's right, it's you. With such a handsome face like you, it is absolutely impossible for me to remember wrong. Xiuan's eyes were fixed. She said that it is absolutely impossible for herself to admit the wrong person. Well, Yifeng nodded. For your honesty, then I will believe you for the time being. Your safety isn't really a big problem right now. But according to what you just said, your mother sealed the spirit and body of sprites in different places. So we must not wait for Sprite to completely regain his power. We are going to take the initiative. After all, Yifeng is actually too unclear how strong the sprites are. Don't watch Naruto destroy the sprites in the movie. But, boss like this, he must be very high, but when facing the protagonist, he happened to not be in a heyday. So, if you let the sprites completely recover, it is also difficult for Yifeng to say what kind of moth he will make. So, Yifeng felt that they still had to find sprites as soon as possible. You should know where is the altar that seals the sprite's body. Take us there. I also want to see what this monster is like. Yifeng said. Okay, let's set off now. Xiuan nodded, stepped forward and grabbed Yifeng's neck and lay on Yifeng's back. I just screwed my foot, so you carried me. Go ahead. Yifeng sighed. Feel the softness from the 2 special objects behind. He couldn't help feeling full of emotions. What is going on in this world? Why are there women silver hooks everywhere? I'm so hard. Numa country. Underground altar. Under the guidance of Xian, Yifeng and his party finally found the place where the sprite's body was sealed. But when they came to the underground altar, outside the altar, a large number of humanoid puppets have surrounded this place. It seems that Sprite has found his body. Yi Feng frowned, but he didn't expect this guy to move quite fast. Well, but his soul and body should be fused soon, and his strength won't recover so quickly, let's rush in. Xiuan said. Well, Xian, you take the samurai to deal with the puppet first, and Xian and I will go in first. Yi Feng ordered. Okay, you guys be careful. Mao Yu Xian nodded. Subsequently, Yi Feng easily broke into the underground altar with Xian on his back. Hot lava is everywhere here. At this moment, a creature that was not in human form was standing at the very center of the altar. The two Yi Feng entered the altar. He seemed to sense the arrival of Xian. Nico, you are finally here. Sprite turned his head. Revealed that terrible truth. I heard that you are a monster. What exactly is a monster? Yi Feng looked up and down curiously. Sprites exude a very special energy wave. That is a completely different power from chakra. It's not the same as Shanshu chakra. Of course a monster is a monster. Your question is strange. It's like if I ask you what a human is, how would you answer it? Sprite laughed strangely. You're right, this question is really difficult to answer. Then let me change the question. I heard that you are from Otherworld. What is your world like? Yi Feng asked. After Yi Feng finished asking this question, Wu Jia laughed scornfully. Otherworld, haha, you humans are really thoroughly brainwashed. Sprite shook his head, his eyes full of disdain. What do you mean by this? Yi Feng frowned, feeling that the ghost seemed to have something in the words. Although I am a monster, I am a creature born and raised in this world, not like the guys who came here to plant trees from Otherworld. A ray of light leaked from the sprite's eyes, which seemed to be a bit resentful and a little jealous. The guy who planted the tree. Are you talking about the sacred tree of Otsutsuki? Yi Feng frowned tightly. Listen to what Sprite said. He should be referring to the Otsutsuki family. But, wasn't the sprite sealed before Kagaya came to Earth? How would he know about the sacred tree? Or, before Otsutsuki Kagaya descended on the ninja world? Could someone from Otsutsuki have been to the Earth? Hehe, you actually know the sacred tree. It seems that you know a lot. Sprite finally showed a little surprised look. The sacred tree is there. But not many people know the details of the sacred tree. By the way, who is the person sent by the Otsutsuki family to plant trees this 1,000 years? Is it Susanoo or Amaterasu god tier? Or are Izanagi and Izanagi brothers? Sprite said casually. But when Yi Feng heard these names. But I feel very shocked in my heart. Suzuo, Amaterasu, Izanagi. These names Yefeng are no strangers. They are both the pupil technique of Sharingan of the Uchiha clan. It is also the name of the god in some myths circulated in the ninja world. Stories about them. It has been circulating on the earth for thousands of years. But now, sprites actually said that they existed for real. Are you all from the Otsutsuki clan? Yi Feng suddenly felt that he couldn't understand this ninja world more and more. Am I a fake fan of Hokage ninja? Or is this world actually a fake Hokage ninja world? It's young. This time there is a woman named Otsutsuki Kagaya. We call her the goddess of you. Yi Feng calmed down and said slowly. Goddess of Mao. Special code lousy hasn't even heard of it. Isn't he a weak chicken? Sprite smirked, obviously disdainful to Kagaya. But this is also normal. Since Susanoo killed the Yachi Orochi, we have completely lost the ability to fight them. Up to now, it is estimated that our group of gods and ghosts, there are not many left, right? It's normal for Otsutsuki to send a weak chicken to plant trees, and maybe even weaker in the next millennium. Quote. Sprite stroked his chin and recalled the past. If Otsutsuki now sends people to plant trees, they are getting weaker and weaker. Wouldn't he have at least 1,000 years without worrying about being beaten by a strong Otsutsuki? Stabilized. My sprite wants to be heaven-defying. Yi Feng heard this. His eyes became more solemn. Isn't it a myth that Susanoo's killing of Yachi Orochi is not a myth? It turns out to be real. And it sounds. Is the Baki Orochi or the supreme powerhouse among the original native creatures? Now the world only leaves the Wetbone Forest, Ryachi Cave and Mount Myoboku. There are 3 immortals in the 3 great immortals, but they are rarely seen outside. Yefeng said truthfully. Huh, are you talking about Katsuyu, white snakes, and toads? Just rely on them to call themselves immortals. No wonder Otsutsuki only sent an unknown person. There is really no hero in time, let the weak chicken become a god. Quote. Ghostly laughed ferociously, expressed his disdain for the 3 holy places in the ninja world. Ancient, what is it like? Yi Feng took a deep breath. He rarely encountered a monster who knew the ancient knowledge of ninja world. So, Yi Feng plans to consult. Ancient. Of course, ancient times are contending for the great avenues, and 100 races have been released. But the spiritual veins of our world have been destroyed by the sacred tree of Otsutsuki, and the prosperity of the ancient times cannot be reproduced after all. Sprite sighed. Next, Sprites and Yefeng fell silent. All have their own thoughts. In other words, the sacred tree of Otsutsuki destroyed the aura of the ninja world and depleted the natural energy, so the overall combat power of the ninja world became scum. So here comes the problem. Will there be rejuvenating moths in this world in the future? Yi Feng suddenly felt a bit difficult. After a long time, Xian asked weakly. Night Wind, didn't we come here to completely eradicate sprites? Why are you talking about heaven? Well, I suddenly heard him talk about so many secrets, and didn't hold back it for a while. Yi Feng returned to his senses and looked at sprites. Spirits, thank you for telling me these things, but for the sake of this world Anning, I still want to kill you. Yi Feng's words are light and breezy. Ghost scoffed at this. Cut, my sprite is an immortal existence, and you want to kill me with your kind of scum. Sprite said with disdain. How can I know if I don't try? Yi Feng's voice fell. The demon sword came out of its sheath. Ha! The terrifying sword momentum condensed into a black crescent, soaring into the sky, directly swallow the body of the ghost. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.